Hey everyone, and welcome to Comics from the Multiverse, the DC Comics podcast from MailFuzz TV. I am Peter, and I am joined, as always, for the first proper episode, because we did the annual, but the first proper episode of 2018. Matt is here.
Yeah, 2018, things looking up. I haven't had a chance to be bad yet.
Yeah, I'm sure 2018 will make 2017 look, Winter Wonderland, a big comparison.
Yeah, because we're it's the first week.
It'll take time. But yeah, it's only been, 5-6 days? Plenty of time to ruin the year quite yet. Connor's here as well, speaking of ruining things.
Hey, come on, give me some credit. I haven't had time to ruin things yet either.
Yes, but some things are a sure thing, Connor.
That said, I was out earlier, and I got a news alert on my phone. It's one of those that, it just gives you the updates, it gives you the noise.
Just a random
and
thing.
It was, Donald Trump calls himself a stable genius. I'm like, what world am I living in? That this is a breaking news update?
You woke up in a Black Mirror episode. That's what happened.
I feel like I did.
Well, A, is he having sex with a pig yet? And B, is it weird that the first thing... I mean, I know what it means, but...
That's too easy.
The first thing I thought of when you said stable genius is that he's good with horses.
I
He's
feel
not
like
good
it's
at
just
anything
as
but
plausible
messing
with
things
him.
up.
I'm
So,
just to reference a Marvel thing here, it was reminding me of, you remember that Hawkeye issue where he's like, I'm good at boats? I was just thinking Trump was saying, oh, I'm good at stables.
What if that's his thing? What if he just misses calling? He needs to be working in a stable, and this is his cry for help.
You should be out there shoveling shit.
Yeah, well, he does that for a living. Hey, now.
We're meant to talk about comics, right?
Yeah,
Not
DC
politics.
Comics.
That's what this is.
Yeah, Detective Comics
It's
comics.
2018. This is the year that we take back saying what we want because we want to. If you don't like it, tough. Sorry. Like, you're here for comics. Ignore the rest. Like, just move on.
It was mostly comics. We'll never get that political, but a bit of anti-Trump's okay. A bit of anti-Trump's fine by me. So yeah, done with comics, and coming up on this week's show, we have the next part of the Super Sons of Tomorrow crossover with Superman number 38. We got Batman 38, Justice League 36, Green Lanterns 38, Green Arrow 36, Nightwing 36, Deathstroke 27, Batman and the Signal number 1, and Batman White Knight number 4. That is what's coming up on this week's show, so we'll be talking about that, and that's pretty much it, because there's no news this week. There's nothing else to really talk about. One little update, though, is for the show in general. We're making one little change to one particular thing that we do. Up until now, we've had this little trend of 5th weeks. We've had a vote for a trade that we'll cover. Last time we had a 5th week in November, we struggled really hard trying to pick like a shorter story to do, what the 4 options would be, because we actually had a really busy 5th week. The whole idea that the 5th week's really quiet and we have time for an extra thing on top of it is kind of went away. So we're actually going to phase that out, and we're not going to do that this month, because there's a 5th week coming this month, especially since Metal number 5 moved to week 5, and now it's got even more in it than we did. It's got the first of the New Age books coming out, so week 5's not that quiet anymore, so we're not doing that. However, 2 things. One, we're not going to take away your voting rights completely. Me and Connor do the monthly episode, so every couple of episodes we will put a vote up for that, so you get to vote for that. So you'll still get that kind of ability every so often.
It's just as often as you get a 5th Wednesday anyway.
Yeah, every 3rd month maybe, I guess. I don't know. We'll decide what the rules are later. We haven't ironed it out yet. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we'll never do that again on a 5th week. Because as much as, so we're getting 5 annuals and prestige books this time. I mean, a 5th week later in the year might end up only having 2 books, and if that happens, then sure, we'll whip out the vote again, and we'll do it again.
That's the thing. I feel like they're going to consistently put out the same amount of annuals.
They probably are, because
they might not be ones that we're reading.
For a while it was 3 guaranteed every time. Now we seem to be getting, and it's not necessarily 5 annuals, but we'll have 3 annuals, 2 prestige books, and then a non-continuity book, all hitting on week 5. And yeah, that's the thing that could happen. It could end up being 3 annuals that we are not reading those series of, so we might as well do it. But it's just getting really hard to fit in the extra things. So no vote this month. Apologies. If you're on the Patreon, you may have noticed I didn't go up with the rest of the votes the other day when all the movie ones went up. But yeah, so update. Yeah. Matt, say something while I take a drink.
Yeah, just vote when you can. Vote early, vote often. I believe that Chicago. There's a Chicago politician that said that. Vote early, vote often.
I regret ever asking Matt to speak spontaneously.
It's not wrong. You should be voting.
Well, you should, but I just
you pay. Unlike where other places where voting is free and is a civic duty, you're paying for the privilege to vote. So exercise that privilege. right?
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah,
Just
see?
now you're voting in a slightly different place, essentially.
And make Connor do the worst things if you can, because
See, this is it. I'm reining in Peter's choices because at the minute when we do the movie voting, somehow we end up with shit because Peter puts in a fun option.
Look, it's not the end of the world. We have to review not Westworld. I keep doing that.
You did that last time, yeah.
We have to review Waterworld. It's fine. We'll get through it. It'll be okay.
Look, you don't have to. You were given the opportunity to. What were the other options on that vote?
Better things.
Yeah,
I can't remember, Matt. I've forgotten them all now. It doesn't matter.
I don't remember them either.
Although you
got
got a dope Dennis Hopper performance where pretty sure he just did whatever he wanted. Like,
I'm not actually that upset. I'm fine. I put it on there. I knew it was a possibility. I accept the consequences.
Have either of you seen it before?
No.
I've seen enough. I've seen about 20 minutes and I've gone, okay, no.
Oh, dear.
Well, all I know is if you put the Postman up, I will pay money to vote to make you guys watch that next.
Yeah,
that ain't
Waterworld. That ain't happening, Matt. It's all romance options. That next one for the movies. All the voting that's up right now. So yeah, they can all be romantic. But
no joke option in that one.
No. Since they picked the joke option last time, I made a point of not putting in a joke option this time.
You can't be trusted.
Yeah.
Cool, comics.
Yeah, comics. That's about comics. That's about DC Comics. So yeah, it's this winter. So every Wednesday we get our comics and we use them to heat up, even digitally, if that's how we're reading them, which I am.
True, it's true. I burned some of them. Mainly old issues of Red Hood.
If your tablet's getting that hot, guys, take the case off. Like, if you're reading comics on your tablet and it feels like a fire, you need to let that thing breathe.
I'm just giggling because Connor froze for about 10 seconds and it looked quite funny.
Yeah, I noticed it. It was a bit awkward looking.
Yeah.
Still is.
Aye.
All right. I think that's enough small talk for the start of the show, so it doesn't just feel like we jumped into the books. But let's talk about books. Let's talk about Superman, number 38. Peter J. Tomasi and Patrick Gleason with Ed Benes and Sergio Fernandez Davila on art. So there's a lot of names to read. I'm so used to just one writer, one artist. Fine, that's it, done.
I got two of each this time.
Yeah. I feel like Matt's going to want to like swoon and be like,
let's start with that.
Let's talk about how great it was. Yeah. Superman and some other character with an S in his chest were working together.
Yeah, Titans and Superman, and the fact that we get that him and Jaun had a history, that Connor Kent and Jaun in this future coexist. That's a world I want to live in. Both Superboys have proper super family, and just the way that Tomasi and Gleason, so things are looking rough. The Titans end up saving Superman from his red kryptonite prison, which we'll talk about that in a minute. But Connor comes to Clark, and it's just like, I'm not going to fail Jaun again. And it's just a great moment.
No, it's a pretty good moment. I think what's funny about this, though, because I was kind of like because they reference some of the teammates, and one of them says, hey, you know who we are? It's like, yeah, we know who you all are. Oh. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe they're implying that this will be a Titans team down the line. And I went, wait a minute. If this is the Titan teams with Tim, and Tim's already been a Teen Titan, and he'll be older than everyone else, that doesn't really quite work. So I'm not really sure where that's going in terms of how we fit these people into continuity later on. But
timey-wimey.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Things get wonky, just go with it.
Oh.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a crisis thing where they're going to be retconned in, whatever. I'll take it. But it was just because they were kind of teasing at it, and I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, well, it didn't quite work, but hey-ho.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, I don't think it has to be teasing anything if they're an alternate future anyway. So in their history. So
well, I just like that it's DC, whether it's Tomasi and Gleason or DC editorial going, there's room enough for all these young heroes. Like there can be a world where there's this Titans Justice League team, and then there's still the Titans, who are no longer teens, judging by their ages.
It's kind of crazy that we're gonna have we've got Teen Titans.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Super Sons already.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Titans, and now we've got this team as well.
Yeah.
Kind of all in the same area.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. They don't have a book. They're from the future.
They don't have a book yet. Give it time.
Yeah, give it time, please.
Yeah, Scott Lobdell needs a second book. I agree.
Don't you? Oh God! If I could slap you right now. Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
Oh, it's so easy. Yeah, that was a decent issue. I think obviously a lot of it's action.
Yeah.
I think the first half of it were like or I'll say the good set of the main Teen Titans team, and by good I just mean the ones who didn't side with Savior.
Yeah, Starfire's crew.
Starfire's crew. Yeah, they end up fighting Jaun and Damien for a little bit, and I was like, okay, we're doing the thing where they have to fight each other before they team up. Okay, sure. But I was just
but Jaun,
by the numbers.
But Jaun kind of ends that quick. Yeah, he's like, wait, why are we fighting?
Jaun doesn't end it. Aqualad ends it.
Well, yeah, but he's not. John's not fully in. You know what I mean? Like Damien's the one's like, oh, they're coming to get us, and John's like, okay, well, I'll help my friend, but he's not fully in. I love the fact though that in order to knock out Damien, you know, that's fine, but in order to knock out Jaun, he needs Kid Flash's help to punch his own self out. I like that. It's a pretty fun moment.
Yeah, no, I think that was my favourite part of that whole scene. Actually, was the little joke ending with the knocking out, if you will, of the two of them.
Sorry, bud. Pow.
He looks so dejected as he punched him in the face. He's like, all right, fine, let's do this.
Yeah. Well, I was just say they have to knock him out because Raven contracted their emotions, and we can't have them aware of what's going on. So another cool thing in this issue was we kept seeing Savior Tim like blip in and out because Hyper Time's trying to fix itself. Mm-hmm. And Bart was able to latch onto his hand, and so they follow this hand through time. Just it's disembodied, and it's such an odd thing, but I loved it.
Anyone else
still? It leads right back to him.
Is anyone else still feeling weird that Red Kryptonite now just depowers Kryptonians?
Yeah. It's weird.
I just don't know. It's not a big deal. It's just kind of like this is strange. Like I'm just so used to this being one particular thing. And
I don't know why they've made this.
Pick a different color. Use it if it's going to be a color.
Well, green kills, right? If you're to it close enough, you know, like it depowers him, but
but close enough for long enough, it'll kill. Yeah. Yeah,
exactly. So they couldn't do that because. So I guess red was the next best guess, but why not just make it red sun rays and he couldn't break out?
Yeah.
You know, they decided to make it.
But if you want a kryptonite that just takes away his powers, then just make a new color of kryptonite and do it.
Well, he's from the future too, right? So it's not like he used tech that was here available.
Not sure.
You could have done something with him.
Yeah, sure, but it shouldn't affect the way kryptonite is.
No. But I'm arguing Pete's point where you could have made it another color, and it could have been synthetic red kryptonite or something, not just straight up red that's completely unstable and has a different effect every time. It's just too boring to make it red and just have it take his powers.
Okay.
You know?
So Tim actually kind of goes out, I mean, no pun intended, as a savior, because he kind of like, Superboy's going ultra, because he's upset that they're taking him away from his dad, so he starts to like go supersonic and whatnot, and they're dragging him away, and he starts going all, you know, supernova. And basically, the explosion kind of becomes its own thing. It becomes like its own little power source and starts to expand. So Tim decides to absorb it and take it with him through the time stream so that it will save everyone. Because comics.
Yeah. Well, it actually came down to he was there to kill Jaun, but they're like, well, you can't kill Jaun. Like, we're not going to let you do this. But Jaun's going to blow up anyways. So, you know, he's able to separate it, which that's what they kind of did with Superman when he lost his powers for that time after the supernova. You know, it kind of got pulled from him. That was the whole, what's his name, Ulysses arc. That's what that led to. So, you know, there's precedent for it, and not necessarily a smart thing to do or interesting. But
it's just one of those things where he just sort of throws out there, I'm just going to absorb it and take it with me. I'm like, okay, Tim, if you can do that.
You could have just done that from the beginning, bro.
Is he going to have powers now from all this?
I don't think so.
Yeah, well, he just seems to... I mean, I kind of took this as a sacrifice that he's probably just dead now.
Well, see, that's what I thought.
No.
But
look at his face on that last panel, which I completely nerded out over.
Over his face or over the background?
The background and stuff. I don't think he's dead.
Maybe not.
No, that's the thing. He looks like he might be, but I'm assuming not because comics.
Yeah, I mean, okay, sure, yeah. I mean, even if they intend this to be his death, I have no doubt that someone else will just bring him back later anyway. Even though we don't really need him back. Like, I mean, it's actually kind of silly how quickly we've had him back already after his first story arc in Detective.
To be fair, that was probably always planned as one thing, though, right? By the time that they were planning that Detective arc, this would have been planned for this. So.
Oh, sure. And this is also not the last part. It's to be concluded next month in Super Sons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. But I mean, but we're going to see him again in Super Sons next month.
I think so.
Okay.
I don't think you leave it in tease like this with all these different moments that are key in continuity. I mean, you look through these back panels and there's stuff from Identity Crisis, Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Yeah, you got him holding Supergirl.
0 Hour.
You got Rebirth. You got various things.
It's interesting because if you look at the first travel through time, you know, where the Titans are following him with the hand, those are, I think, mostly, if not all, just the moments with this version of Tim that we've had recently.
Yep.
Oh yeah, it's all this continuity. Yeah, the first one time you see it.
And then this one at the end is all the extra stuff.
And Final Crisis is in there as well.
Only you also got Brightest Day. If you look at the Hawks and Redman.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah, Brightest Day is there.
Yeah. So there are all these major moments that had happened, and so I just think, like, with that look on his face, it to me looks like a smile, and that might just be, you know.
Oh, it definitely looks like a smile, and
I
think there's ways of reading it. Is he seeing all this and going, "Oh yeah, look, you know, history is intact,"
it's fixed,
or is it more I went out doing something good? Smile. I'm not entirely sure. It's a bit unclear.
Yeah, I think if I'm interpreting it, well, it's one way I'd interpret it. I mean, again, I have no ideas which way to go with it, but it's that he's seeing all these different timelines and he's sort of realizing that their history's already been messed with, so that it's still to be fixed anyway, kind of thing. Like,
right.
Not that what he didn't matter, but just the idea that there's actually way more things that are going to be fixed beyond what I just did. Like, there's more things like that's going to make the world better than just.
Yeah. Well, it's like time has a sense of fixing itself, which on a meta level is the writers and editorial going back and retconning things, and that's basically what he tried to do, right? He tried to retcon Superboy,
and that's what most of these stories we're seeing. And all this stuff in the background, most of these stories are retconning things.
Exactly. Yeah. So I read it on that meta level, and I got to that last page.
I mean, maybe that's the point.
Maybe I projected my smile.
Yeah, but maybe that's the writing saying, hey, they're putting him on the same pedestal of all these other moments where he's affected the past. He's retconned something, so he now belongs in the pantheon with all these. I don't know if I'd go that far. I mean, I've enjoyed this crossover. I don't think I'd put it on the same level as anything that's in the background.
None of those. Yeah. But I mean, you just look at all of these other moments and. They are about sacrifice, if I'm looking at some of them. I mean, Identity Crisis, not so much. But, Crisis with both Supergirl and Barry.
Yeah, but they're not all, because obviously you have the Barry and Wally reuniting and Rebirth. It's like that's not sacrifice.
No. But you're also looking at Parallax with 0 Hour, and that's how, he at one point ignites the sun. Or reignites the sun. That was the death of Hal Jordan. That gave way to Kyle Rayner. So it's almost like these are passing of the torch moments or reigniting the torch, if you will. And that's why I love DC. There are all these type of things. And that sense of history and legacy. And if Tim can go back and alter that, like Pete was saying, then he's reached his purpose. He's done what he needs to do.
So yeah, maybe we don't need any more of him. Sorry, while we're on this page, this has got the credits on. Didn't you mention like 2 artists?
I did, yeah. Why was it here?
Just one on penciler.
Sergio Davila? Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe you got the wrong issue.
No, it's not the wrong issue. It's just Comixology having the wrong information.
Yeah.
This happens every so often, but they just have extra names or whatever.
We'll write that. Well, not write it, but you know what I mean. Fix it.
How do we fix it? What do we do?
No,
Contact
we just fixed
say.
it.
I mean, to be fair, maybe we should submit a thing. Hey, look, credit the right people.
Give this guy credit. Yeah, he draws a great Connor.
It was funny because when you mentioned two, I was going, oh, I never noticed there was two artists, and I was flicking through, going to go, can I see where the change is? Because usually I can notice them, at least if I'm looking for it, I can see the difference. I'm going, I can't spot this, and obviously flicking through, and I'm finally on the last page, going, oh, that's because it's just one guy.
Okay. I just copy it off Comixology. That's all I do.
I'm not blaming you. I'm just
I don't fact check it as I'm going.
No. Comixology should do better though.
True.
Yeah, this was a pretty fun issue. I don't think I love it. Like I think it's a fun issue. I like there's some nice moments in there. There's some teases of continuity stuff. I don't think I'm as over the moon with it as Matt obviously is.
Well, yeah, I'm biased though. Like, this is my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So.
No, I like it a lot. I like the last page a lot, and I like the back half of the issue as well. You know, more once the other Titans come back. The first time it's fine. It's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't excite me.
I think the crossover as a whole, at least so far, obviously we don't have the final issue yet, but the crossover as a whole, because I assume most of the next issue is going to be the older Titans from the future interacting and sort of like just sort of almost clearing up the loose ends.
Well, because now how do they get back? Because they followed him through Hyper Time. So.
No, that's a good point. They followed it through the hand. Does it fix them automatically like it was trying to do with Tim, like the whole time?
If not, then they'll think of a way of doing it by the end of the issue.
Even better, just stick around.
Yeah, what Connor said. Please.
No, that's not happening. So, yeah, so the crossover as a whole so far, I think it's been very good. I think it's been kind of light on, like I feel like it's kind of a thin action plot.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, so they came up with this thing where, Superboy's going to explode one day, and Future Tim wants to stop that from happening. But, like, we never even had a hint of that before now. Like, that was just something that came up because he mentioned it when he came back. So
it almost makes me wonder if the Lonely Place of Living was planned first, and Tomasi is like, oh, I can use Future Tim.
Yeah, I think it was. I don't think this was the purpose for him. I think this is essentially a filler crossover. It's a really fun filler crossover. I think it's a solid read filler crossover, but I think it's filler ultimately.
Oh, it is. This is your summer blockbuster essentially. Yeah,
but I don't think. I mean, maybe it'll have some lasting impact for the Titans and Superboy, but I don't think it's it doesn't feel like a big important thing that's happening. It's just a fun little romp. But
it added that schism between them. The ones that wanted to help, Beast Boy and Raven.
Yeah, I think the concern is, does that just get brushed over really quickly?
I don't think so, because the next issue of Teen Titans, it looks like they're all leaving the tower. Like the cover, I mean.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool. No, that's good. So, and obviously now Jaun knows he has this power, which is new. So there's a change there.
Yeah, just for him to manage it.
Give him a few character things for the next little few arcs or whatever, sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a fun read.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Okay. And the art, which we briefly mentioned over the Comixology hiccup, but I thought the art it wasn't as good as Fernandez when the start of the crossover, but it was.
No, it was solid though,
serviceable.
And it did its job more than well enough.
Yeah, I would concur with that. I guess we'll move on to Batman number 38, which is Tom King writing and Travis Moore on art. So. This is a one and done story.
Yeah.
I mean, we may get characters from it popping up again later, admittedly, but in terms of the story itself, it's a one and done.
I want to know how King's brain works. Was it like, oh, okay, well, I want to tell this date night story with Superman and Batman, and then, I want to use that was Man on Heart, right?
Yeah.
I want to use Man, and then I want to use Joel Jones. But was the timing off, and that's why he just
I think that's absolutely what it is. Yeah, they like, okay, those issues aren't going to be ready for that, so let's get.
Oh, it wasn't even. It's not even worth speculating. They actually flat out said that JL Jones needed more time, so this was an issue that was coming up later, but they pushed it forward to give her more time for her issues.
Because if he just whipped this up as a filler issue, then he might be the greatest writer alive. Just because
that's on the top of his head.
No, Matt, this was a planned issue for later. Because JL Jones is doing the Wonder Woman part of the Super Friends story, which is the next two issues.
This will probably play into something coming down the road then.
Oh yeah, probably.
Just like because Morrison was famous for doing stuff like this, and then just leaving them as seeds for other people to pick up on. But if that's what this is, then holy crap! But if this is for him telling his story, I think it's cool that he seeded it right now. So we'll forget about it a little bit, and then when it pops back up, we'll have this as a reference.
It was probably going to be in advance of whatever it was setting up anyway. It doesn't feel like it's going to lead, it was going to lead straight into something. It feels like it's not we're maybe planting some seeds. Joe, obviously we'll talk about the main plot of this issue, but the first thing I want to talk about actually is I kind of like this. Just this idea, this status quo where Selina's just living at the mansion. And she's around whilst he's doing things, and she's like, lying next to him in bed while he's obsessing over the case. I like this idea that we're like, okay, now I don't know what they're going to do with the wedding. I don't know if they're actually going to completely go through with it, if something's not going to go wrong, and we're actually going to have the marriage status quo.
Bad has ever happened at a superhero wedding.
No, nothing.
You can quote me on that. Nothing ever bad.
But what I'm saying is right now is we're not entirely sure if we're going to get this status quo where he's going to be a married superhero for a while or a long time or ever, right?
That's the thing.
But what I like,
see this.
But what I like about this is that it's setting up what it's going to be like if that does happen, because it's the idea that she's there eating dinner while he's obsessing over the case. She's lying next to him in bed while he's obsessing over the case, and she's there at the end of the night when he comes home after he's solved it, and he's just completely destroyed by what he's discovered and what he's found out. And it's just this look they share. But she's not actually part of the plot. She's around, like Alfred. She's just kind of there. And I'm sure some plots she'll be more involved, but some she won't be. And that's okay. And that's what we might get in stories like this.
She's to him by himself with Alfred, him being able to brood, but now he has someone else there. And it throws out that off balance a little bit. Like her just being in the frame as he storms off from the dinner table, because he's bothered by what's going on.
Yeah, and you've got Alfred making catty remarks. You've got an actual cat woman there, so he's surrounded by cattiness. Sassy Alfred.
I love Sassy Alfred.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, no one doesn't love Sassy Alfred. So the plot of this one is that there's a kid who's obsessed with Bruce Wayne. He even has his butler referred to. He's a rich kid, obviously. He even has his butler refer to him as Master Bruce, even though his name's not Bruce. And his parents die, and he makes sure he gets in touch with Bruce Wayne. And Bruce comes and talks to him. Obviously, as Bruce would do, to try and comfort him, because I know what you're going through. I've been through this.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Does this get any easier?" And he sort of try to track down who's killed the parents, and it leads to Zaz, and it hasn't quite add up because he couldn't get out of his cell. And then there's another double killing, and it's like, oh, there's a hint here that maybe it's Two-Face, maybe not. But there's these clues.
Doesn't add up.
Yeah, it's all these little detective
quite
clues.
Literally.
He analyses the letter that Zaz got. He analyses the time that the bodies were sort of, because they're in like clock hand formation, and he analysed all this. And by the way, Dennis O'Neill Avenue. I just want to point out the reference there.
Big. Again, I like when they do it more on the sly.
Yeah, because he actually said this out loud, or in a speech bubble. He actually referenced it in the text.
I'm not gonna lie, that really annoyed me because it didn't work. Not the name. The name's fine, but the whole point of that sentence was, oh, it's backwards, but he had to move the S on deeds to the other end of the word, and I'm like, what? Yeah. What? That's just cheating.
That's okay, fair. But the ultimate twist here is that this kid was so obsessed with Bruce Wayne, he killed his own parents, or had his butler kill his parents. I don't know if it's never clear exactly whose hand was the killing blow per se, but he had his butler do it, or he did it himself, and did these other crimes to lead Batman on the other paths. And Bruce ultimately realizes this is a childish game and realizes who it is. And that this kid idolizes Bruce Wayne in this weird way. That's what I mean, because the start of the issue and the end of the issue both end with a very similar scene of him coming home and seeing Selina, but the second time at the end he just looks destroyed, and this kid's a complete raving little lunatic. It is a dark little one-off story. That's what it is.
So I like to think, because you see this kid at the end and he's carved Thomas and Martha onto his cheeks, right? And scratched his parents' names out of the grave.
Yeah, it's on the gravestones,
I like to think this is Snyder's origin for Batman. Not Scott Snyder, but Zack Snyder.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, I forgot I had to clarify because of the Snyders, But yeah, because he's just obsessed with dead parents, even more so. And I like that commentary towards the end here, where you're not Bruce Wayne, you're a sick kid with dead parents, and that's been the entire arc thus far with King. Of who is Batman and.
Yeah, because the kid says back to him, but what else is Bruce Wayne if not that?
Right. Yep. And so I'm just like, God damn it! By shining a light on the flaws of Batman, especially for me, I'm just like, yeah, take the piss out of him. This is great. But then it resonates on a separate level too. Of Bruce is struggling with this.
Right. Because, like you say, that question is ultimately the point of King's run. What else is Bruce Wayne? Not beyond just Batman. What is he? Who is he?
Yeah, because at the beginning you had Gotham and Gotham Girl, inspired by Batman, to help Gotham, and now you have this kid inspired by Bruce Wayne, So it's both of his personas, and what they inspired. One is something really good, despite Gotham taking it too far, and then you have this kid who's ultimately taking it and corrupting it.
No, I like it. Again, the idea that King's run's about, because typically Batman is Batman and Bruce Wayne is essentially just a mask. He doesn't exist. He's just a facade for when he's out of the costume. And the idea here, we've got a Batman who's late in his career, who's starting to question things and starting to look at his life and say, well, what am I if I'm not in this Batsuit? I've got this family of characters now who also do this. I've got Dick, I've got Damien, I've got Barbara, all these people. And
it's ultimately why he's gonna game with Selina. It's like, because he's thinking about this and going, but without just the suit, what have I got?
Because if he doesn't get killed doing the job, one day he'll be old, and what is he when he's old? Because he can't do this anymore.
We've already seen that, right, in the annual.
Oh, sure. Well, yeah, right? We have now. But
but yeah, and so it just plays into that, and oh man,
yeah,
God damn it, I'm loving this run. This is superseding Morrison's run, which I just loved because of its pulpy superhero-iness, and this is on a different level.
Yeah,
I find it funny that you love that so much, given that is perpetuating the idea of Bat-God.
Well, it's not destabilizing it, but it's deconstructing the Bat-God mythos, Yeah. So with Batman and Son, and then Resurrection of Ra's al Ghul, and all that stuff, which... Up till now, Resurrection of Ra's al Ghul is my favorite Batman story, bar none. And then this, some of these stories, I think More Jokes and Riddles has blown that one out of the water, mostly because of Kite Man.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, just because of that little interlude there. Like, it's this big action story, and Batman struggling with what to do.
No, I'm digging King's run. It's kind of, it keeps building, it keeps getting better. It feels like, I'd say it's more consistent, but it's also more consistent in a sense that it keeps rising as well. And I think I love Morrison's run, but there are parts of Morrison's run that I don't like that much. I don't like Batman Inc. that much. So Snyder, I thought started really strong but went downhill. So I feel like out of those three being the sort of the three. It's kind of funny to think where you can go back over a decade in Batman comics in 3 runs. It's King to Snyder, then Morrison, more or less. So.
Well, yeah, you had who was on Batman when Snyder was on Detective?
I think it was 20S Daniel, because they swapped when the New 52 started.
Yeah,
and Daniel switched to Detective.
And so that wasn't.
Yeah, that wasn't particularly memorable.
Yeah, but like I said, that was whilst Batman and Robin was running, so it was still Morrison's Batman run at the time. It just wasn't on the main book.
That was the primary book. That's right.
Yeah.
And you've often had that, side things, like you had, the Dini, the streets of
Gotham. Streets of Gotham.
Streets of Gotham, yeah.
Yeah, that was a good little run, I thought. I like that.
Yeah, I like that stuff.
That was a nice little complimentary. You know, whilst Morrison's doing his crazy stuff, here's some more just sort of nice, good old-fashioned Batman stories.
Yeah, and it was like, okay, so you've got the main run that's, you know, defining the time, which obviously at that point was Morrison, but his other stuff's going on around it, and it's the same happening here where, okay, no, King's run is the one that's defining the current period of Batman.
In a way, but at the same time, like, I feel like Detective's doing this really good job of defining it in a completely different way.
Well, no,
the way that I look at it
defining the family.
Yeah.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Defining Gotham.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, though, is I think Detective right now compared to King's Batman is way more on a pedestal compared to anything that was going on during Morrison's run or Snyder's run.
Oh yeah, probably.
You know, like sure, people like Tomasi's Batman and Robin. People enjoyed the Streets of Gotham whilst Morrison was doing his thing. But
I was going to argue with you on it, but then when I think about it, there's stuff that happened in tech since Rebirth that you're going to point back and go, like I just did with Resurrection of Ra's al Ghul, like, God, that was such a good story, and it resonated so well.
Yeah,
whereas
honestly,
you don't do that so much with the owls and stuff. Was cool, like, and I liked it, but I feel like we don't even deal with that now. You know?
But yeah, like, I mean, the history of the owls pops up because, you know, there's a little bit of the owls in the start of the Nightwing Rebirth run, and
yeah,
so they're a part of the canon. They're part of the world.
They're just a thing now. Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. It's not like this Clayface stuff, right? From Tech. We're gonna go back and go. You remember that time that he tried to rehab Clayface, and it played with our emotions, and it'll probably be the defining Clayface moment for the next 10 years, let's say. That type of stuff. I get what Pete's saying.
Honestly, I don't think, like, thinking about it, I don't. This is I don't think there's a time when I've been reading comics where both Batman and Detective have both been this great at the same time.
Working, yeah.
You know, like, Batman wasn't that great when Snyder was on Detective and doing that great Black Mirror stuff.
No.
And when Snyder's run was doing well, Detective wasn't that great. And it's funny, because when Snyder's run was starting to go downhill for me, that's when you get a little bit of the Manipul Detective, which was better.
Yeah, that had a couple of real nice arcs.
Yeah, it wasn't a long run, but it was there. And then, yeah, but now from Rebirth, like, both runs have just been kind of hitting. So I'll be interested to see. And if King is going for 100 issues, he'll probably outlive the current Tech run, and we'll have someone else new in Tech for the next while.
And this is a guy that I think it's cool too that he started on Gleason. You know, like,
it was just dipping his toes in the water. He was just
and then
because he was co-writing that with Seeley. He was like, okay, I'll do a co-writing job with someone, just sort of get used to the world.
I remember when we watched that Rebirth panel. And King's on Batman. So, okay, I know who he is because I wrote Gleason, but is he ready for the big leagues? Is he ready for Batman? To take that bug.
And in the first 6 months, I was like, absolutely not. But since then, I 2017
think
really was his year.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think it's funny that
check out the annual
when that announcement came, we were like, okay, Tynion on Detective. Okay, I see it. That's going to be the flagship. We're switching back to Detective as the flagship of the two.
Well, that's the thing. Even Tynion on Detective, I remember feeling like, okay, that should be okay. But at the same time, like, up until that point, he hadn't really blown me away with anything.
No, he'd been obvious, but it was clearly the more established.
But the fact that we were getting Stephanie Brown and
there was reasons to be excited, Matt. I'm not saying there wasn't.
No. I remember Pete going, "Wait, both? Did I read that right? We're getting both of the former Batgirls." Like, that was enough to make you go, "Well, yeah, definitely day one, like, we're going."
Yeah, as if I would never try a new Detective run, no matter who. Even Scott Lobdell, I'll try an issue and see how terrible it is before
brave man.
Yeah.
Right into the shredder that goes. I don't care. Take the staples out first.
That's what I burn for heat.
I wouldn't even give it the dignity.
Oh dear. It was pretty good. In this Batman issue, just to get back to more on topic. Obviously, that's obviously not an artist we've had on Batman. Obviously, clearly a one and done artist. That's to say it won't be back, but certainly
it's fine.
Not one of the. No, I enjoyed it. I like the sort of dark tone it had, particularly when Batman was talking to Gordon. I felt like the sort of the somber mood of talking about these murders was kind of in the art. It was there.
Yeah, I really liked how in his home in the manor, it was always really warm and really brightly lit, and it was nice and homely. But as soon as he's outside or anywhere else, it's just it's got this shade to it.
Yeah,
It's
no,
a nice touch.
I think it played with the framing quite a bit. I like the close-ups that were being used in a lot of the scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was framed in a very cinematic kind of way, because that page with Gordon, when it's intercutting between him and the murders, like all the framing, it's very anamorphic movie framing, so it's almost exactly that shape. Yeah.
It felt very Fincher to me.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Like,
yeah, even just the way you feel like it actually almost feels like one shot. Again, if you compare it to a movie, you start off in a wide shot of Gordon, and then the next panel you're into a close up, and then the next one you're into a really extreme close up of his mustache almost. But it's the idea it's getting closer to where he's talking. Like you're getting towards the sound. You're being drawn into the scene. It's very effective.
So one thing I did find particularly weird is while Batman's in Arkham, why is his cowl blue?
Do you know? I don't have a. Well,
yeah.
Actually, no. I do have maybe kind of a thing, because if you look at the page before that, and he's standing in the room with the murders, and you've got the orange glow outside, and he's got like a fair bit of orange glow on his thing. I'm going to defend the slightly blue cape and cowl in Arkham, because it looks like he's in fluorescent lighting. Sorry. And again, going back to sort of movie rules with colour and lighting, you look really blue or orange depending on.
No, I get that. It's just I can see like a light against him still, like a more natural light. So it seems really weird that he's so blue to me.
It felt right. It felt moody. Like I didn't notice it until you just said something.
I don't know
it really drove, because I think like that's pretty much the first time we see Batman in the issue, because he's on the page before, but he's in the shadow.
I don't know if I'd say that's a natural light though in that scene, because you see it on Zaz as well, and he looks kind of blue too. It's definitely got a blue tone on everything on that page.
Yeah, I mean, not the light coming down from the top. And on that page, I agree that it's kind of got that almost purpley glow. But on the next page, where the lights are coming from the side, where you can kind of see the ways where the way Batman's lit much more clearly, it doesn't seem like it should be that blue.
That's just it's perspective, because
maybe
because in a real life setting in that room, the light would still look white, but everything it hits would look slightly blue. Especially again, if you're going back to filmmaking, like on camera, everything would look blue.
I get it. It's just the way he stood that it doesn't seem right to me.
Guys, I have an important question here that's beyond colors. How do you prefer yours as? Do you prefer tally marks, or do you just like the random cuts? I like the tally marks.
I'm down for the tally marks.
I like the tally marks.
Yeah.
I do like the deranged, sort of erratic nature of just the random cuts, but I do prefer the tally marks overall.
Okay. I'm not saying it's wrong.
It adds to the count a bit more, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he's keeping score. Here, it's just kind of like he's a cutter, and it makes him feel better for killing people. You know what I mean?
Oh, just to go back to this blue thing, not to argue about whether it should be blue. Just it did make me when I read this right, and I saw the blue tinge here on these pages, I was like, you know what? I wouldn't mind a return to a dark blue cape and cowl permanently if they want to go down that route for a while. I'd be okay with that.
I did find it particularly amusing that I was going, oh, that's really blue, and then 2 pages later we're talking about Dennis O'Neill Avenue.
That's true. That's a very good point.
So does he wear the blue cowl at the wedding? That is just cowl.
Does he have a dress cowl?
Yeah.
Well, does he have like a little sort of bat bow tie that's just like a little bat?
Yeah.
Oh, God, I hope so.
Dear.
If he doesn't, I'm going to be very angry. Anyways.
Yeah,
it was a really good issue. I even tweeted at Tom King, which I've tried not to do just so he doesn't think I'm some weird stalker. About how it was.
He knows you're a stalker.
I know, and that's what I have to know, because he liked the tweet. But it was just basically like he continues to tell these unconventional stories that are just great, for Batman. Like, because I kind of had a feeling from the start it was a kid, because that was kind of the point. It was called The Origin of Bruce Wayne. You know?
See the kid on the first page.
Yeah, and you kind of have that feeling the whole time, but you go through it, and then when you find out, like, it's not the point that the kid's doing the killing, it's why. And then it started to remind me of Hush, and I was like, oh, I would love a Tom King Hush. And not the story Hush, the character Hush.
Yeah.
Where this is a guy that's so obsessed with Bruce Wayne because he got with the life he wanted, and you add some of the espionage stuff into there that King can do.
This
oh
is,
man,
like this story is it's a what could have been. You know, if okay, he didn't channel it into Batman. What was another possibility as a result of losing the parents? And you know, you see, okay, it could have been much worse.
Yeah. Actually, well, I'll debate that just slightly in that the kid himself killed the parents, so it wasn't like a...
Because he wanted to be Bruce Wayne.
Yeah. I mean, that's fair.
Also, it wasn't lost on me that the kid's name is Matthew, either. So, he does listen. King is listening. He's talking to me through comics, guys.
Yeah, Matt, you're a psychopath.
Yes. I think we need to limit Matt's the amount of King things Matt's allowed to read.
Yeah, that may be.
No, you're not taking Mr. Miracle from me.
That may be a thing.
I struggled with liking that book. I earned liking that book. You can't have it. All right. Dark Side is.
He had to work hard to
I
like
did.
that.
All right.
Actually, just before we move on to the next book, can I just mention most of the books this week digitally had like a little preview for Damage at the back. I kind of like the look of this. I mean, obviously Vendetta is writing it, so I'm not, I'm not going to be too excited about it. But just the art from Tony Daniel, I'm digging the look of Damage. DC's Big Hulk.
I get to that first page of okay, we're on the preview now, and then issue's closed.
I always swipe to the end. I need to complete the bar.
I just mark as read.
I do that too, Pete. If I see an undone bar,
if I
don't finish reading it,
I mark it as red, so the bar's not there.
Wait, on Comixology the bar stays for me if it's
but it stays full, doesn't it?
It stays full. Yeah, it's a full green bar. Yeah.
Yeah.
What a weird conversation to be having. No, that's good.
Alright, what's next?
A couple of big page spreads, good action, but looks of it. I'm actually eager to try out, which I think is next week. Actually, I'll know that at the end when I check what's coming next week. Tell everyone, but that's cool. So I guess we'll move on to Justice League number 36, talking about deconstructing things. Christopher Priest writing, Pete Woods on art still. So at least so far, it's 3 issues in a row with Pete Woods. So it appears that they've maybe got this worked out, so that we've got one artist for the whole arc.
Yeah.
Because I feel like if we were going to swap them, it would be after 2. If it was going to be mid-arc. I could be wrong, but I just got feeling.
Soon find out.
Yeah, we'll soon find out.
I'm not going to lie, I laughed very early on in this issue.
Was it when Batman comes to the Watchtower and he's like, update, and Jessica's like, we suck, update over.
Oh, no. Much earlier than that.
Okay.
It was the third page. So you have the page at the start with the hearing. And then you have the double page spread of the Batman stuff.
Evil Batman killing the judge, yeah.
And then you have a full page spread on the title page of Dick. And I remember distinctly on the last issue we were going, as long as we keep Priest away from Dick.
Oh yeah, I loved this as well, yeah.
I did the same, and I was like, boom, he's like, but he doesn't treat him poorly.
Oh no, he doesn't. But here, this is the thing, it didn't click with me immediately. I turned the page and went, oh hey, Dick. And then about 2 seconds later I went, oh wait, no, Dick.
I went, I saw a big Dick, and I went,
yeah, luckily it didn't go down a bad place. So it starts with all this hearing, and I think with this Justice League story...
Sorry, I just cracked about that.
Was it when I said it didn't go down a bad place? Is that why you're laughing at
that? That, and then Connor before saying he turned the page and saw a big massive dick. Sometimes I'm 12 years old, guys, and I can't help it. Like,
And not only that, the actual image of Dick on this page, he's sort of like he's coming right at the camera, as it were. So you've got a big giant dick coming right at you on this page.
Yeah.
Anyway, so what this arc's really doing, it's really questioning the idea of the Justice League and the moral centre of it, and at what point are they interfering with the affairs of the world, and at what point are they impeding justice, at which point are they operating outside of the law. Like, they're really playing with this idea, or Priest is really playing with this idea, and I'm liking it.
Yeah. Batman vs Superman rant warning right now. 3, 2, 1. In 3 issues, Priest has already done a better job at setting this up than Snyder did throughout Batman vs Superman. Because I feel that's how we're supposed to feel about Superman.
I swear, if it wasn't for the fact that no one will get it, I would probably call this episode "Crisis on Infinite Snyders."
Yeah.
With the Snyder confusion, but yes,
right?
yeah.
But so it's set up, and everything feels earned because we've seen the Batman messing up the wrong city that led to the death of the nun, and then they go and they steal Wonder Woman's sword back, even though it's evidence. Like they're actively breaking the law at that point.
And then adding in this whole this judge who's speaking out against them. Superman's at this hearing, and then the judge shows up dead. Someone dressed as Batman kills her with a batarang in the forehead. Super dark stuff.
Pretty awesome.
And it kind of makes Batman kind of that's his whole conversation with Dick. He's kind of worried about what he's inspiring here, which kind of ties into that issue of Batman in some ways. And he's in super he's tiptoeing now. He's like really worried about crossing lines. So this whole crisis that happens in this issue, where this submarine is it's causing trouble in the water. Aquaman's not happy, but it's not in international waters. It's in Chinese water, and they we want to intervene. But no, technically this is the China's call. This is not our call to make. This is
we can ask them and see if we can get permission. But without it. Yeah, not much we can do.
And then of course, but I can get the whales and the fish to kind of move it, a few miles that way, and then it's in international waters, and then we can say, okay, but you're bending the rules here, and it becomes this dispute where Batman's trying to talk them out of it over the comms, and Aquaman's like, no, we're doing this.
I love that Bruce is just standing there with a cup of coffee as well during all this.
And Simon's on Aquaman's side. Simon's really gun ho and wants to get in there. He doesn't care about the fallout of this necessarily. Whereas Superman's been more diplomatic, he's more in the middle. He's like, no, technically he's right. And then at which point are we crossing the line? There's a lot of this debate going on. Obviously, and again, credit to Priest. We've got a good sort of moral debate, a good core of the story that's going on. We have fun, big action stuff going on, and then on top of that, there are some really genuinely funny moments. I mentioned the one with Jessica. The other one, of course, is that when they're talking about, they have that moment where it's like, hey, do we run this plan, past Batman? And they all kind of look at each other and go, basically no. And it's like, hey, this thing with the boss is bad, right? And afterwards, when we're debating this, he's like, hey, we've got a problem right now. Superman, you should talk to him. And he's like, why me? It's like, because you know him best. And because Baz is speaking so much sense, Superman's like, hey, we should get to know each other. You seem pretty good. Well, let's grab lunch. And then throughout the rest of the page, the conversation keeps going on, but Simon just wait, did he just ask me to go lunch? I'm having lunch with Superman.
Yeah, it just kind of ends. It's the camera's tracked back, and we're all out, and you just go, wait, did Supes just say let's grab lunch?
Yeah, but the lines are a good source of humor in this. The other moment I like is when Wonder Woman and Bruce start having a debate as well about because she's like, what's more important, my own mission or what I am as part of the Justice League? Does the team come first or does my mission come first? And she's like, maybe it's not always the same. They start having this debate, and Jessica's just like, if you'll excuse me, and you just see her leaving the room. She just feels awkward. And back to that again later on, or maybe it's earlier on, but at one point, Batman, what does he says? It's later on when he's leaving. Yeah, it's just when Cyborg's tracked down this fake Batman. He thinks he's found him, and Batman's like, I'm going alone. And she's like, no, we're a team. He's like, no, I go alone, damn it. And the reaction from her and Jessica, Wonder Woman's got her arms folded. She is so stern. She is pissed at Bruce for that call. And Jessica's just terrified. She's like, oh, the boss is mad.
Yeah. I'm keeping out of this one.
The difference in reaction.
Page ends,
the difference in reaction between those two.
With Simon, though, too.
That ends with
we got lunch?
The lunch thing. Yeah, it goes back to that. Yeah.
There's a whole beat there. Yeah, Priest is great at balancing humor in with these serious plots. We've seen a little bit of it in Deathstroke, but nothing of this level because he can be a little bit lighter here.
Yeah, obviously it's Justice League, so it should be lighter than Deathstroke, I think, just by its nature.
So, something I'm really noticing with the timing of the beats that you just mentioned there is it's in the panel layout. There's a lot of space between them often, and you'll just get, there's a lot of black on the background of the page, just kind of going, okay, no, it's there, and they're spaced in a very specific order.
In fact, the way you were saying that, this whole sequence, you've got all these black borders, and then on that page as well, we just mentioned that, Batman says he's going alone, and then at the bottom, you have that one wide shot of the ship where he's like, did he just say grab lunch? And that panel is actually shorter than all the ones above it. The rest are all equal. So you get that they're all equally paced. It's just this equal beats in a scene, and you get that if you compare it to like a movie, it's like the quick little smart funny cut to this one little line. It's just this little punchline at the end.
It works in two ways. One, it makes the moment seem shorter.
Yeah.
But also it makes like physically, okay, we're further away because it's smaller.
Yeah. So it's punchier. It makes it a proper punchline.
Yeah.
On top of it. Now, Batman turning around and angrily saying, "I'm going alone," felt a little bit out of character, but credit, because that was intentional, because a couple of pages later you find out that he assumed he was being listened to, and this was all kind of a ruse. Because he goes to where the guy's been tracked down, he's dressed up all as much as Malone, and he thinks he's getting away with it, and then whoever this evil Batman is has a sonic device that debilitates him, and he's grabbing his ears, and we find out that it's actually Simon in disguise as much as Malone.
Which I guess is something that the Ring can do, because we were just mentioning this in Green Lanterns like an issue ago.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we were just talking about that. Yeah, with the Ungarians.
So I guess the Rings can do this now. Fine.
Yeah, and it makes it very clear because you can see the green line as it sort of like fades over his face.
Once was questionable, twice like this. No, okay, that's it now.
It's not even just that it's twice. It's that this clearly shows the change happening. Like in panel, you see exactly. It go over his face.
Okay, this is it.
So you know without a doubt this is happening, and then we end with this Batman, this evil Batman, in an old school looking costume with the yellow oval
and the trunks.
Symbol. Yep. And the what? Sorry.
The trunks.
The trunks. You're right. Yeah, the trunks.
Matt, your mic's going.
And he's like, "Yeah, I'm your biggest fan." So, well, I guess the first question I have is: there any guess as to who this guy is?
Prometheus. You laugh because of the crap on Arrow, but we haven't had Prometheus show up.
Sorry, you say crap?
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Crap. I stand by that crap comment.
Generally, I agree, but that Prometheus music is godlike.
It's okay.
I'm missing something.
He likes the music on Arrow whenever Prometheus shows. It's this really ridiculous theme that plays.
Okay. I don't care about that.
No, it could be, but I kind of hope it's a nobody. Just because that kind of plays into the idea a bit more we could inspire anyone to do this.
Oh, sure, yeah. And that's part of the worry, is that not only are they technically outside of the law, because Wonder Woman even questions, like, did we let someone get away with murder? Like, can we put him through the process the same way because of how he did it? Like, kind of thing. Like, it's really questioning all these things. Go on, Matt, so give us your Prometheus theory.
Well, no, if you know about Prometheus' comic book origin, he was basically inverted Batman. His parents were criminals that were killed by the police during a shootout, and genius level intellect, found access to the Phantom Zone, through his own devices. So I just think that if you're gonna have someone set up as his biggest fan, it's a new version of that.
That's a reasonable guess. I can't argue with the logic.
Yeah. So
I think it's someone I think it's an established character because of the smirk. For some reason, the smirk tells me that this is someone that we're going to know.
Well, quite possibly. I can't really dispute that. I think I prefer it if it's a nobody. But I mean, if it's somebody,
I mean that would work. I think though if it's a nobody, they have to I mean, they're clearly saying, okay, this guy's really smart. He's listening on the Justice League. He's second guessing these plans to double cross them. This guy's clearly good at what he does.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, there's some interesting things there. But no, like I say, I think the thing I'm impressed with most with this run so far is the fact that Priest is balancing. Like every issue's had like a big action set piece. You've had the submarine in this. We had the monster in the first one. And like we've had something in every issue like that. But it's not been at the expense of a sort of deeper story that he's telling and things that he's questioning and this idea of the Justice League and when do they cross a line? When should they be relegated regulated? That was the word I was meant to say there, and so on.
And not to keep going back to the dick, but I think a genuine point you made is we know Priest doesn't like Dick, and he avoids writing him if he doesn't have to. But he chose voluntarily to include him here because it made sense for the story. Because this is what would happen. So at least he's not just going, okay, I don't like that, I'm going to ignore it. He's going, okay, maybe I don't like this, but it's what has to happen. It's the one that makes sense. So he's kind of putting the story above his own likes and dislikes.
It also it works in the sense that the scene's not about Dick. Dick's there to facilitate what it means to Bruce. So
exactly, but but he could have gone. Oh, I'll do it with someone else. I'll do it with another leaguer, but he didn't. He went to Dick, which was an interesting choice because we know he doesn't like him.
He's the one that's closest to Batman, so it makes sense for him to be the one to have this conversation with Bruce. It just makes sense. But hey, so no, Justice League was very good again.
Yeah,
so
I think this is its strongest issue yet.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. So that'll take us on to Green Lanterns number 38. Tim Seeley writing, German Peralta on art. And this followed up the cliffhanger from last issue where Elizabeth turned out to be Red Tide. I will eat some words on this reveal because I debated that this might not go certain ways. I argued that maybe, I mean, I didn't have that strong an opinion on it, but it was more just that it didn't bother me. But I like this issue overall, but the idea that she is actually just this evil person, completely.
Do you know what annoys me more? I like that reveal even less now, because for most of this issue, it kind of just ignores that.
Yep. Yeah. I had to go back to make sure that
you didn't miss something.
Full issue.
Yeah, I was like, I know I missed last week. Was there an issue of Green Lanterns last week? Did I miss an issue? I genuinely was confused. I went back and checked. No, it says part 2 at the start. Yeah,
I think the one moment that tells you that did happen is when Simon's trying to talk her mother out of letting her go. Like, he's trying to talk her out of it because he knows more than everyone else does.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see his guilt, perhaps, next issue when he didn't speak up about any of this. Especially if she ends up doing a lot of bad stuff. What I did like in this issue, and funnily enough, it actually ties into a lot of what Justice League's doing. I liked the question. Jessica pulls Simon aside and says, "Hey, should we be interfering with this? I mean, this isn't an exploding sun. This isn't like just saving lives. This is purely politics.
Yeah.
Like, should we be getting in the middle of this?" And Simon says yes. And, it's an interesting debate. And I like all that stuff.
She calls him out for being personally,
thinking with his dick.
Involved. Yeah, she's like, well, yeah, of course you're going to think so, because... And he's like, hey, that's not even fair. She's like, well, then what else is it? Like, her whole tone, I'm with Jess on this, and they're actually arguing like partners. I like that.
Because Jess is, horrified. She's seen... Regent Vok, stab a guy in the leg to make him talk, and she's like, "Hey, this is kind of out of our wheelhouse. We don't do this. We save people."
No, I think this stuff, this angle of it is the best part of this issue by far. Yeah, I think this stuff is fascinating that it's going down that route, and I really want it to go more into that.
Yeah, and the stuff with the Molite in the prison when Simon gets him out, and because he feels guilty that he brought them here, and they're always going to be this sort of looked down upon refugee society.
Yeah. Well, I like what he said, too. It's like, look, you saved us, and that was my decision to let you take us from the planet we loved that was going to destroy us, but now we're going to be destroyed by a planet that hates us, so which one's better?
Yeah. I think it's easy to be annoyed at the Elizabeth stuff, but honestly, it's almost just the plot fodder to make all the interesting stuff happen, so you can't get away with a lot of it.
It's frustrating that it's kind of the main hook again at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, okay.
At the end.
Absolutely, the cliffhanger's like whatever. I don't really care, but everything else, like what this has done for Simon and Jess, Jess's reaction to Simon knowing this and not telling her, I think will be the interesting part of it.
Oh, absolutely.
Going forward,
and that stuff is on form, and I'm really enjoying that stuff. Keep it up.
But again, now thinking about it too, I kind of like that they didn't make her Liseth this mustache twirling villain, right? Like. This is how stuff like this actually happens. It could be the person next door, and you would have no idea. You know? Like, there was that movie that me and Pete watched with Daniel Radcliffe where he went undercover for the FBI with neo-Nazis. And, it wasn't... The stuff that was disturbing wasn't the out-and-out, like, skinhead stuff. It was the dude that was leading it looked like, a vice principal.
Yeah, he seemed like a nice, normal person, but he just secretly was this awful... supremacist. It was...
And that's what goes here. It's this pop star, and she actually harbors really this hate, and for no other reason. Like you'd think like her mom raised her in this normal, circumstance. Like she has no reason to carry some of these.
It's a total milkshake duck. To use a term that the internet's using. I heard this, but
no, I haven't either.
A milkshake duck is when... Now, I don't know where this came from, so don't ask me. I just know what it means. Milkshake duck is when someone you admire, usually a celebrity, turns out to be a really awful person. So it's getting used a lot now for, a lot of people who are being found out for sexual assault and things like that. That's a milkshake duck.
Sounds like you're
I'm trying to wrap my
milkshake?
head around why.
Or is it a duck
why,
drinking a milkshake?
I
Or
don't
is
know
it
why.
like-
Don't ask me why. I
is it-
started with the don't ask me why.
Is this from our friend Boy, where milkshakes are great but ducks are bad?
No,
It could be.
I don't believe so. I have no
I'm
idea.
looking this up right now. You guys talk about Green Lanterns.
Oh,
I have a
great.
question about the art. At the very end, when Liza reveals herself and she's holding Jessica up,
Yeah.
she seems to have horns coming out the back of her head. Where did they come from? They didn't seem to be there before.
Well, she's just gotten
What's
power
that?
from this device that
Yeah.
steals powers from other races, because she's got like Martian
Yeah.
powers and stuff.
Yeah,
So
I got
assumed-
that, but I didn't realize it was. They give her horns.
It depends. Are the horns the source of a power? Because then she'd need the
Yeah.
horns.
Well, they were talking about Durlans, right? They came there, and we know Durlans shapeshift.
Oh yeah, okay.
Right. So
Yeah, she wants.
So she chooses to give herself horns because it looks cool.
Yeah, I'll buy that. Do you know
No,
what I like?
no, that's fine. It was not a criticism of them being there, just a query.
The moment I really like actually in this is before they show up for this attack on the villain, whatever his name is, I can't remember. He's
Kerr.
basically, sorry,
Kerr. That's his
there
last
you go.
name.
Yeah. He's like giving this speech to his followers. He's like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. He was this proper political rant, and I love the moment where the two lanterns appear behind him in the cloud. You just see them coming out of the cloud. I really like that moment. I think it's a really nice little paced reveal.
It is, and I think that is particularly nice as that comes after the conversation between them, up in the atmosphere of okay, but this is political. Are we supposed to be doing this? And them coming in there is the reveal that they've decided to stay and intervene.
Yeah.
So it does work really nicely.
That's a really nice moment. I appreciate it. So you can nitpick a couple of the elements of the plot with Lizeth, I think, but I think overall the issue is still actually pretty solid in what it's doing.
Oh, it is, yeah.
So, no, there you go.
Yeah. All right. So milkshake duck. I found where this comes from. Real
Go
quick. It came from a tweet from somebody named @PixelatedBoat in 2016. It was like, the whole internet loves milkshake duck, a lovely duck that drinks milkshakes. And then 5 seconds later, we regret to inform you that the duck is racist. So it goes along with that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was just a funny, them like trying to explain situations. But how Pete described it earlier, where we find out someone that you really, like or care about does something really awful.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I've heard people use it in the tense of that person is my milkshake duck, because I found out something awful about them and I liked them before that. So there you go.
Get it?
Connor's just my perpetual duck.
Okay. Also, real quick at the end of this, I'm now realizing in Green Lanterns that their willpower's low, so the Green Lantern uniform's going.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice.
I like that as well.
Right.
I like how you see like Jess is wearing like like a shirt and like jean shorts or whatever underneath. Yeah, I like
Last
that.
time we saw Simon, though, he was suiting up from being naked. So is he gonna be in this cave, just all in his glory?
Hey, that'll be comedy gold if that's true.
That's what it is. And
To
on the
be
verge of
fair-
death, Jess looks over and goes, like not even briefs. Like, come on,
I
man.
get the joke there, but the way his costume's coming off, it kind of looks like there's purple underneath,
shirt.
like there's a shirt.
Yeah. To be fair, like when did we see him suit up? Were you talking about when he was in his like home, or are you talking about last issue?
He had that night with Lizard.
Yeah, so since then he's had a night in bed and stuff. So I buy that he's put on other clothes. So
I was just going for the comedy's sake because I
to be
got
fair,
to that page.
not that I would criticize it if they just sort of retconned in some clothes since then. I wouldn't complain they didn't do the naked thing.
I just like the idea of just looking at him and they're on the verge of death and like, bro, seriously, like, come on.
Yeah.
we're representing an entire sector.
That'll take us on to Green Arrow number 36. Benjamin Percy writing, Jaun Ferreyra on the art. So obviously we're still.
AKA, it's gorgeous again.
Oh, it is absolutely gorgeous. I almost wish there was more stuff in the water because they left the water at one point, and I'm like, no.
I wish this was a double-sized issue.
but then all the sunlight stuff's gorgeous.
It is gorgeous, but I'm just like, go back to the giant squid and stuff, the giant octopus.
That very first page, which we talked about in Justice League, the size of the panel shrinking.
Yeah.
They do that here where we zoom in. And you just get that giant eye, and it looks incredible.
Yeah, it's all bloodshot. Yeah, it looks really good.
Yeah, the pressure's getting to him. I also like the balance of the art in this, like because we know Ferreyra likes to do the double page, and so it makes for a quick read. But like here with the way that it's layered and
Yeah, it's color coded because the
Yeah.
second page, the double page spread, you've got 3 scenes going at the same time. The top row is all white and it's like Diggle, like, oh, Merlin's left, he's coming for Yardley. And then the second one's like the lawyer trying to get a jury, and the jury's like, he slept with my sister, he slept with my maid, he slept with my someone other. Like,
We're gonna need an outside jury.
And
he was speeding and ran over my dog.
Yeah, that one I don't believe. That guy's just trying to get out of jury duty.
Probably.
Oh, by the way,
who says he threw up on me while I was tending the bar. That one I believe.
Oh, by the way,
one's true.
The dog one, I am pretty sure that's meant to be Percy. That looks like Percy in that panel.
Yeah, it does. Also, the judge. I had to pull up a picture because it's Judge Grell, and that is Mike Grell. So,
oh, cool.
Like when they do that type of stuff.
Mike Grell, of course, did a big Green Arrow run back in the 80s and 90s.
Longbow Hunters, some other things.
Yeah, I bought the first couple of volumes of that in the sale over the Christmas period.
Yeah, I'm sure you'll start that in the summer.
Yeah. Well, I started No Man's Land this week, and I'm really enjoying it so far. So,
yeah, cool.
That's good stuff.
But no, I do love this page, the way that it's structured the same. So you have the 3 short panels on the left for the first third, and then you have the long for the 2/3.
Yep. And then all ending with a close-up.
Yeah, with the face, and they've all got the side profile shot of them on the left of that second 2/3.
It's a very absurd sort of moment after that, though, because Fife apparently is good enough with this submarine to blast giant, sea monsters.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
who cares? It's all that video game practice.
Fife is cooler than I think I realised before.
Yeah, when you give this nerd like something he's actually good at, then he'll surprise you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then old Broderick meets his untimely end because Shadow puts an arrow through his eye.
About time.
I mean, I was like, man, he's gonna be a cool villain. Look at all these spikes in him. Like, he all he does feel. Oh, there. Okay.
No, you're right. I was like, oh man, we're bringing Broderick back. We're doing something cool. Oh, I'm digging this look.
And he's the pincushion. And okay. Well, there he goes. His eyeball's outside his head now.
He's done.
It's on the wall.
Yeah. It's like, never mind.
Yeah. There we have of course, the the painful page of the issue in which Black Canary knees Ollie straight in the balls.
And you feel that
for being a doofus.
Ferreyra drew that, like, that's 2/3 of the page, and I'm like, I bet he had to take a break after drawing that.
Do you know what I don't appreciate about this ball hitting page is that the way she's actually leaning in, it's almost like she's taken a run up and done it. It's not just a knee to the balls.
You're right.
She's a master martial artist, so she's probably adept at hitting in the clinch, like in in MMA when they pull them in. Mm-hmm. So she just probably got some. She did get some momentum behind it, but yeah, it's not often I look at comic book art and can feel it like you can in movies, But this one, I just looking at it again now, it gives me a stomach ache.
It's all the more impressive that it's not like some hyper realistic drawing either. It's still just the stylized that he has, and I'm still there going, ooh, no thanks. That looks rough, and not for me. I love the layouts. The page after that is the arrow layout. No, it's the one before the sunset.
Oh, that's right. With I jumped ahead a page.
Yeah, it's the arrowhead pointing down. That's really nice.
Yeah, all the sun stuff's really nice. Them taking in the sunset. There's little things that are set up. Wendy Poole looks kind of vulnerable. She's left alone because Red Arrow gets called in to help with the situation, and it basically all boils down to you got Merlin with
Moira.
Thank you, Moira. And it basically ends up being this. And they even sort of joke about this repeatedly during the scene, that this is some sort of weird dysfunctional family get together, but they're all fighting because you got Shadows kicking around somewhere, and that's Oliver's dad had an affair with her, and then you had Oliver's mum having an affair with Merlin. You get all this going on, and there's a lot of jokes about that. It's fun stuff, and it all builds up to this final climactic moment where Emmy jumps in to take an arrow for Oliver. Because...
And he calls a red arrow for the first time.
Yeah. Because Moira was trying to kill her own son.
Yep.
Because Moira's a cold-hearted bitch.
Apparently so. Yep, apparently so.
I'm not that anyone should be really surprised, to be honest.
No, and that's fine. I got to that page, and I was at the comic shop, and then I went, oh man, my friends were like, well, what? And I was like, no, y'all don't read Green Arrow. I'm not spoiling this for you. So like, but it bummed me out for like 5 minutes. Like, I don't want this to be the end of Emmy.
It won't be. She'll be safe.
I mean, they are in some occult dungeon thing, so and Shadow's there.
The only thing that makes me go, no, she's fine, is if it was dead, this was an actual death, one, we'd have heard about it. There'd have been news articles.
That's true.
and two, that's the cynic in me of the current state of the media of comics, but it's the reality. And two, she's popping up in Teen Titans and shit soon, right?
Is she? I thought that already happened.
I thought it was happening again at some point. I think the solicits. Maybe I'm misremembering.
Okay. Hopefully, we'll see. It's the thing.
Well, if she is, great. But as far as I know right now, she's dead, and I'm sad.
It's a great page. I'll say that.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't call her dead yet. She's just unconscious and bleeding out. She might not be dead.
Through her chest. Direct hit. Like
there's areas in the chest where it won't hit something too vital.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm just looking at it now and finding amusing is the top half of that page, the panel where she's actually jumping in front of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The color of all the background, the red and yellow and orange kind of sunburst. It's exactly the same as the background as when Canary's kneeing all over the place.
It's the impact.
Yeah.
That's how Ferreyra. Because you assume he has to draw those, right? And then they just film him in color.
Yeah.
Or do you think it's just the colorist? They say this is what they want.
I don't know.
I'd assume he gives a rough guide, but
okay. Well, it was like when Lemire was writing.
Does he do his own colors?
I don't know. That's a good question.
I'm trying to find where the credits page is in this issue.
Yeah. Well, because like when Lemire was writing Green Arrow, he would do these panels when he wanted to drop emphasis to things, where they would all go red.
Yeah, and then the colors would drop out as well.
Yeah. But then I realized that was the artist in Sorrentino, because that followed him over to Old Man Logan.
The focus thing that Sorrentino does.
Yeah, and X-Men stuff that he worked on with Bendis. So, I don't know if it's just one of those things, but
man, I'm looking through this. I cannot find the credits page. But correct me if I'm wrong. DC credit colorists on the front page now, don't they? Yeah. So it's just Percy and Ferreyra. So I assume that means he
does everything
as well.
Yeah. It makes sense because his style does have it always has speed lines and stuff, so it makes sense that he's involved in that.
It does, but I remember, going back to the Green Arrow and Sorrentino, I know for a fact Sorrentino colored the first issue himself, and then goes, no, this is what I want the style for the book to be, and then the other colorists emulate that.
Oh, okay.
So Ferreyra does his own colors. So that's it's.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. No, but it's all this issue. I mean, I almost have very little to say about this issue on its own, just because it's like, it's Green Arrow again.
Yeah, but it's still great. So
yeah, still great.
Yeah, I loved it. This was.
This is a book elevated by its art, because I think this issue, plot wise, there's not that much. There's bits here or there. There's the ending moment, but there's not loads. But all these moments are just incredible to look at, and they've got such mood and atmosphere. That first page in the submarine.
But
the
it also
sunset.
helps that we've been, at least me and you, Connor, have been reading Percy do Green Arrow since, and this is kind of a culmination of a lot of the stuff that he started when he took over in the New 52.
Yeah.
During the werewolf era, which still is weird that I can say that. Like,
how earlier you were talking about, we can refer back to these points in comics. Like, this will be the point where we talk about Clayface. No.
Yeah.
That's the werewolf period of Green Arrow.
Yeah, exactly. Like, so, I don't know, I think that just hit me too, because, the stuff with his parents kind of was there.
Yeah,
seeded throughout, his family that had founded Seattle, and all that. And like, even if you look in the back at one of those pages, you see that what I assume is a dead queen in the crypt.
I assumed as much.
Yeah, but yeah. So Yeah.
Yeah. No, great, solid. So we will move on to Nightwing issue 36. Sam Humphries writing and Bernard Chang on art. So this is the second issue of the run, and once again we are back to building up the Judge as a very formidable foe for the old Dick, the Dick off the old block, if you want to call him that. So this issue. Obviously, Dick has to deal with the fact that he got shot at the end of the last issue, and he actually activates the defibrillator in his suit, which makes Alfred call. He's like, "Hey, Master Dick, you." He says Master Richard, obviously, because he's Alfred. But yeah, Master Dick. I think that sounds pretty cool. So he's like, "Hey, do you need any help? You know, you okay? You know, activate your defibrillator. You know, it seems like that's the sort of thing you might need a hand, might need some help." He's like, "No, Alfred, I got this." So we get Dick for the rest of the issue with like half his like arm ripped off, like the suit, and he's like got a bandage like round it. So he's kind of like battle torn Dick for the rest of it.
Battle damage. That would be the action figure.
Battle damage.
Yeah.
So I wanted to say that in the box. Battle damage Dick.
Yes, don't put that on a box.
Oh, do put it on there. It'll be hilarious.
Make it a blind box. You know. Expectations vary.
What weird person has a fetish where they want the Dick to look battle damaged if they're trying to get a sex toy?
I don't know, but just the amusement of that being a possibility.
Dark readings on the internet said that their sex toy is shaped like dragons. So there's a market, I'm sure.
There you go. Matt knows. Matt's done his research.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the shelf next to Dragon Dick, apparently. So
that's also a figure that they would have produced in the 90s.
Also, we can put that next to Richard Dragon.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
Right. Anyway,
circle.
So throughout the issue, Dick's trying to track down the Judge, and he finds more and more body. He goes to the church where he was at, and one of the monks or whatever have killed everyone else. And like Dick's like the body count is racking up, and he's like really starting to blame himself for it. Meanwhile, I'd argue that sort of the more main plot element of the book is actually the Judge himself at the mayor's office.
Yeah, getting the Judge's backstory almost is what a lot of this stuff is. Yeah,
I mean, I'd say less backstory and more just like immediate, like why he's here in the city kind of thing, because he's with the Judge and
cleansing.
He's like Dick's finding it. Oh, he got to this limo driver who does like has a account with the city, with the government, the office, and that leads the Judge to the manager who works in the building, which leads him to the mayor himself. And he's like, yeah, you already confessed to all this because you've been stealing. The casinos were given all this money and all these permits because they were supposed to be funneling back money into the education system, but they've been kind of cooking the books to make sure that never happens. The mayor was in on it, but now the mayor feels trapped by all these lies and he wants to try and put an end to it, but the casinos are basically threatening him. He's like just scared for his life, and it all sort of boils over, and the Judge is just basically slowly poking at him to eventually make him commit suicide, because we find Dick finds the woman who works for him on the roof going to kill herself, saves her, and she mentions she heard a shot, and then Dick goes to find him and he's like lying at his desk with the gun there and the blood all over the place, and it's like the Judge is here to stay. Like, he's not just here to cause some trouble and leave. He's setting up the status quo that he wants in the city.
This, if Humphries plays this right, this could become like Dick Grayson's greatest villain. Because when you think, I don't think he really has too many. Like I thought it was Blockbuster because I'm not too familiar with the Dixon run, but I know Blockbuster was pretty heavy on there.
Yeah, he's in there, but I don't think people look at Blockbuster and go, "Oh, that's the arch nemesis. That's the one that we love."
I think it's one of those where some heroes don't really have a villain, and some of them don't necessarily need one.
Well, Joe, I think it is. I think it's because with someone like Nightwing, who's a legacy character, that when you want to ramp up the stakes, you make him face someone that like Batman had to take down once. So when Joker comes to Bloodhaven, it feels like a big deal. Dick has to deal with him on his own. Like that feels big.
And honestly, I think the difference as well, where someone like Batman has all these villains because often Batman is played so straight and almost has a zero personality, whereas Dick's always got a charm, he's got charisma, so you don't need as strong a villain to play off of.
No, but that's what makes it stick out, though, is the way that Humphries is writing this character, like it plays so well off of Dick's personality.
Yeah.
This is a guy that to himself is cleaning up Bloodhaven, but by doing it, he's coming into opposition with Dick, who is too cleaning up Bloodhaven in his own way, you know. So
yeah, but that's not gloss over the fact that
dichotomy.
the judge is not just that he's cleaning the place up. He is a sadistic asshole who is killing people to do it.
Yeah.
He's clearly getting off on the power and the killing.
Let's not brush over the fact that he is clearly crazy because he left his cocktail behind.
Oh, it was empty. That's one of the ones. So, as someone familiar with the tiki culture, that you hollow out a pineapple.
Pineapple, yeah.
Yeah. So he drank that, and that's a blue Hawaii, a blue curacao, and I think vodka. But yeah,
How do you know it's empty and he's not just left it there?
Because nobody leaves a full blue Hawaii.
No, they don't. You're right. No one should do that.
No.
But that's my point. I think I don't trust this guy.
So is that
'cause there
how
might
the
be
judge is
something
going to get
left
to you,
there.
Connor? He's going to show up with a half-drink tiki drink and a gold coin.
This is the most
I'm down for
stupid,
trying.
inane conversation I think you two have ever had on this show.
I'm just saying.
It looked good, is
But-
all I'm saying.
Hey, I'll send you the recipe. You can make yourself one.
Which, by the way,
Appreciate
having the mayor just taking lines of cocaine, I'm like, oh, this is more adult than I was expecting in my Dick Racing comic.
I remember during man, what was this? Was it Countdown? Yeah, where you had the trickster and what was it the Pied Piper? They were handcuffed together, right? But before all of that, they're hanging out with the rogues and Mirror Master's doing coke off of one of his own mirrors. And I remember thinking, I was like, damn, I can't believe they're letting him do it. And now I'm just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Mayor, Crooked City.
Yeah, no, you're right. I didn't even register as well. I'm like, okay, corrupt.
Oh,
man,
no, it fits. Like, it didn't feel out of place in the plot sense. It was just kind of like, wait a minute, are we actually doing this in a Nightwing comic? Like,
Yeah, that's my thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's the thing because it's just that's so what I expect of the stereotype of that character that I didn't even register that that it's weird.
Whereas Mirror Master doing it felt so out of place just because it's like, yeah, he's a rogue, but he's not a drug addict. Like,
yeah, because the rogues feel goofier, whereas this guy's clearly meant to be like an archetype of this, stressed out, corrupt
yeah, but
guy.
I still feel it's weird to see that type of drug use in a comic.
It is. It's just kind of strange.
I'm such from the early 2000s where it's weird to see characters smoke, and you see that more and more now with characters. Than
I think it's really funny that TV went in the opposite direction, where now it's like no smoking.
Yep.
So. Yeah. No, it's No, it's fair because even when you have like Roy with his addiction problems, whenever that's shown, you never necessarily just see like needles like hanging out of his arm and like.
No. So for that cover, that one Hard Traveling Heroes cover, he was full in. Yeah.
Oh, I would say it's not common anyway. They tend to avoid it, so it was just kind of weird to see it quite clearly. That's what he was doing. So I like to point it out. But no, it's a brutal issue, and it sets him up as this really imposing threat, this presence, this dominant force. He's the anti-MCU villain, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
And 2 issues.
Unnecessary shots fired, but cool.
Oh come on, they have useless villains in those movies.
So is he the tree? Does he worship the tree? Like, what's going on with the tree?
I think that was just a poetic thing at the end where he's standing in front of the justice tree, but he's corrupting it. He's taking over the city. So I think it was just like a.
Okay.
I think he's looking up to it because he's up there standing. He's small in front of it. He's just a judge, but this is justice itself.
Oh sure, yeah.
And he's corrupting. Okay, that makes sense. So I was like, wait. Is he a manifestation of the tree that's gone wrong? Is this where we're going?
Matt, sometimes your mind goes
the
places.
crazy colours are just the drug-induced stuff.
Gotcha.
Don't worry about it.
Oh dear.
Gotcha. So I'm just reading it. And I'm like, that's cool. That's cool. Like, I'll get down with that. Like, we have a plant lady running around Gotham. It's fine. Like, it's not a leap to take, but I like that. I like that read that he's looking up at justice, and yes, he's feeling justice, but he's doing his own
weird, dark, corrupt way. And
God damn it, Humphries, that's smart.
So, do you know what I wasn't expecting from this issue? The continuation of the Guppy stuff.
Yeah, and
Oh,
oddly,
God, that stuff too.
I'm into it as well, which I'm really surprised because you see he's helped these guys like steal something from the water, and they cut him out and push him in the water like proper bullies, call him names, and then he goes home and you find that he's got like a sick dad who's like dying and he's up to like medical equipment and he's like, "I'm sorry, Dad, I'll get you meds tomorrow. I'll try, I promise." And I'm like, "Oh man, this is hitting me in the heart."
I really hope he joins the runoffs as a group, just in the group. And speaking of, I hope the runoffs aren't just forgotten. Because obviously there's been no mention.
I don't think they will.
Yet.
I think Humphries is coming in. He's gonna make his own.
Yeah, do your own thing. Start on that.
I can see it being.
Just don't ignore them.
I can see it being left to the second arc, or maybe like a climactic issue where he needs help and they'll pop up. But I think he wants to do his own thing first, completely. Where it's.
I get that, but I feel like there would have been real impact in turning some of them against him in this arc. From the judge.
Ooh,
well, they still meet later. Like
they might, I'm just that's what I'd do. I know that.
Oh man, what was the girl's name that was going out with Giz?
Mouse.
The black girl. Was it Mouse? Yeah, imagine
Mouse.
him showing up and giving a coin to her, and the thing she wants most is revenge on Nightwing for the death of Giz. Like, oh man.
Yeah, I feel like the reason why I think we might not see them in this arc is just 'cause I feel like Dick is really alone in this arc, and I feel like at least until you want to have that moment where he decides not to be alone anymore, I think you want to have him just completely isolated.
I agree, and it makes sense. I miss them already.
But no, I
did like having them around.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. This is like, I know a lot of people try to compare Dick Grayson to Daredevil a lot, and that's usually a hollow type comparison, but this is the most it's felt like a Daredevil, like, because it feels grimy and gritty. But, not that it's trying to be.
It's so grimy and gritty, but it's still so bright with all the casino lights.
Yeah, it's neon. It's kind of like that neon demon kind of idea, just to sort of reference that. The idea of, like, LA is this, like, there's potential there, but it's also this dangerous place where your life can just get sucked up and thrown out, like, at any turn.
And you're so distracted by the neon, you fall into that hole that was laid out in front of you.
Yeah, it just covers up the problems.
Yeah. So, no, I like that. No, solid. I'm 2 issues in. I'm really digging Humphries on Nightwing.
Yeah.
So we'll see where it goes next time. Alright, that'll take us on to Deathstroke number 27. Back to Christopher Priest. Diogenes Neves on art this time, though, for this one. Do you know, I will say this, is that the more we've had this monthly since it's went single shipping, is that the more and more I'm like, this is good, but I feel like this will read better in trade. Because there's so many
elements. I feel more and more that I need a recap page.
Because, see, I don't know what it is.
How many threads?
Do you know what it is? It's the plot with the assassin Lady Willow. Every time it comes back to that, I'm like, hold on, let me just remind myself, who is this again, and why is she hunting someone, and why are they hunting her? And I'm just like, what's going on? What's happening?
I alternately love this book, but also have no idea what's going on at the same time. It's the weirdest feeling in the world.
No, you're right. I think for about like half, maybe 2/3 of the issue, I'm like, okay, what's going on? And then I get to the end, and I remember everything now because I hit the ending and something happens. I'm like, oh yeah, there was all of that.
It's the Dr. Icon stuff in a nutshell. It's like, well, who's this guy? And then you remember, like, oh yeah, he stole the body.
See, that's the thing with this issue, though, is I felt okay up until the last scene. I was okay until then, because everything was kind of like, alright, so Deathstroke's still at this church, he's trapped there, Joseph shows up to try and find him, he's really, he's arrogant, and he smashes the box, which actually just deactivates Joseph's suit. New Superman, which I'd forgotten about, is actually at the base with everyone else.
I got such a good laugh at him trying to speak Chinese to the guy, and the guy just like, I don't speak, I'm not even Chinese, man, like, stop. And Keenan's just going. Like,
he doesn't care. Yeah, he just keeps going. It's really funny. You had the scene with, because obviously the first chunk of the issue is Terra's kind of like revamped backstory now. You see where
like that.
you see that the Judas contract kind of happened, but it changes the ending where Deathstroke calls it off because he's got this Lazarus contract now. And she's kind of pissed about that. So it kind of changes the backstory a little bit there.
More on that in a minute. I'll let you recap and then.
And then you have that scene with her and Rose on the train, on the subway or whatever it was. Bit of banter there. But so does anyone understand the ending? Does anyone want to explain to me the whole where Terra, who's pretending to be this escort assassin, Turns out to be Terra, and then the actual red-headed assassin comes in, and Terra looks over at her and goes, "Rose?" And I'm like, "What?"
No, here's the thing.
Clear.
I don't think we're supposed to know this yet.
Okay, good.
I think this was supposed to be a surprise. Like, we're supposed to be with her, surprised, going, hang on, what?
I don't get why she's saying that, though. That's why I'm confused.
Well, she's there to assassinate this dude for Deathstroke's ex-wife, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What's her name? God damn it, I always forget.
Adeline.
Adeline, yeah. So, the redhead thing, but it can't...
Because here's the thing,
Can't
though.
be Rose.
There's so many things in this book month to month that I have to think, oh, do I know this? Let's try and remember it. Yep. That when it pulls something like this, I genuinely don't know if I'm supposed to know why she's saying that, or if it's supposed to be a, WTF moment.
The implication is that Terra thinks this is Rose, yeah?
Yeah. But we're sure it's not, right? We're positive it's not.
If this turns out to be a secret twin, I'm going to be alternately upset and like, oh my god, this is kind of cool.
I mean, it could be Rose,
yeah.
I guess. I mean, she has a lot of spare time that we don't see.
I mean, sure, yeah. I think what's weird about it, though, is I think it's odd where it's almost banking on the fact that because we see someone with red hair, we're going, oh, whereas if this was a movie, we know it was her right away the first time we ever see her.
Right.
So it feels weird to me to use the fact that it's comic art where we can't, get that specific with the faces that we can't tell until someone actually else sees her and goes, hey, that's Rose.
No,
that's a weird thing to me.
I think it's interesting though, because if that is the intention, I like it in the sense that that's a unique way of using your medium. That
I don't know if I do, because it's almost pointing out like a flaw in the medium, like something that the comics can't typically do as well as the other.
Well,
visual stuff.
I agree, but I think in a way it's going, well, no, we're going to use this to our advantage because you're going to be surprised as well because we have to tell you because it's this reveal to you that you can't just see like you would in a movie. So they're kind of using it to their advantage.
It's not a visual medium though, so the fact that they have to tell us feels like a crutch to me. I don't know. It's murky. If that's the intention, which it might not be, we're just kind of theorizing here, but if that's the intention, it feels murky to me.
I like that she's eating the sandwich, though.
Sure.
That's good.
Sure, she's eating the sandwich. It's great. And then Icon shows up and catches her after she's hit. So that's how we end the issue. But no, it's a hell of an issue with a lot of different things going on.
I do like the retelling of Terra, because it definitely makes Slade not such a creep. Because it shows that of her in bed, like we've seen. But he's just like, get out of there. Like, you're a kid. Like... Yeah, so it kind of redeems Deathstroke in that way too.
He does kiss her, but
he
kisses her to manipulate her to sort of get her on his side. Yeah, not that makes it okay to kiss a 16-year-old or whatever.
No, but he's also an assassin.
Yeah, the point we're making is
this is the means to an end.
It's still creepy. He's not as much of a creep as we previously thought.
It's less creepy if he's doing it for the job and going, no, all right, this is just what I got to do, than if he actually wants to.
But I never got the vibe, like, when we read the Judas contract, I got the vibe they were, like, in a relationship.
Oh, yeah, they were just having sex regularly.
Here, I don't. Here, it's like he's, like Connor said, it's a means to an end, and he's leading her along to get her what he wants her to do. Oh. But never do I think they actually have a physical relationship.
I mean, I still think he's corrupt enough that he might, but it's just...
I don't know. I think you say corrupt, I don't think... Deathstroke is corrupt. I think he still typically has his own code of honor. It's morally ambiguous, sure, but
sure, but this was a thing in comics continuity.
Oh, it was, yeah. But now, by the but
then again, Wintergreen. I'm just reminded. Wintergreen goes, "There's a line in our business, and you crossed it." So maybe.
Is that implying that he did cross that line off panel?
Yeah,
could be. I don't know.
But no, I like that. I like new spins on the Terra story.
Well, they had to kind of do this for us because we were kind of aware that Judas' contract kind of happened. We just weren't sure like what the details were.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cleared up at least part of it. Enough that, it makes sense why she's around and she has a history with Slade and whatnot. So, yeah, this is a thing. I mean, I assume she's a bit older now.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if she was 16 at the Judas contract, then... Yeah.
Yeah, who knows how many years it's been since Judas
So
contract.
she's definitely, she looks college age.
Yeah.
The guy comes up to her thinking that they're in the same
I'd say
school.
she's maybe 19, 20.
Yeah.
It's been a couple of years, but yeah, and the whole stuff with him clarifying the relationship with Markov. She's not exactly a princess because she's a bastard,
Yeah.
But she still has some bloodline there versus what had been before that was super convoluted. Precious is like,
this
no,
was pretty
she's
simple.
a bastard daughter. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
No, I do still like this issue, but I definitely feel like trade when this run is finished, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Like I say, I'm not criticizing it too much. I can't really blame it for being dense. Maybe that's just an argument to say that this worked better. Maybe is double shipping it. This pacing with these things jumping around like this.
Yep.
Yeah.
It may have been better to try and focus each issue a bit more compared to what it has been. But then
the problem is then it feels like, okay, I'm shifting halfway through a run, and it loses its feeling because at least this is consistent for the future when you read this all in one go.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a murky situation to criticize.
It
because
is.
Because
there isn't a clear answer, is there?
It's a double-edged sword, but hey, there's a lot of solid moments in here, though. Alright, so that'll take us on to Batman and the Signal #1, which is Tony Patrick writing, although the story is also co-plotted by Scott Snyder, and we have Cully Hammer on art. So that is so obviously this is an issue 1, but it's just a 3-issue mini that we're doing here. Which it does actually say in the front. There's like a metal logo in the front to sort of let you know this kind of ties into metal. Is it a thing? I'm not really sure it does yet, but we'll see.
it ties into the way where they brought in the metagene.
Oh sure, yeah, kind of, yeah. I guess.
But that's it, because I got halfway through this last night, and during the week you guys had said how wordy it was, and it might take a bit. So I pushed it off, and I go to bed reading last night, and I fell asleep. Was woken up by dropping the iPad onto me.
Just for context of how dense this is, the first page I've just counted has 13 caption boxes plus dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
It is wordy. It gets a little bit better as it goes on. But it evens out a little bit later on. But
yeah. I never finished the other half of this. I ran out of time before it's time to record. Question for you guys: did you guys finish the Duke story that was in the backup in All Star?
No.
No. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even realize he had powers until they started talking about him.
Well, I only remember that because of the Forge.
I'd kind of forgotten.
Yeah, I'd forgotten that as well. If I'm honest. That said, I do actually kind of like what the power is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense with his name.
Yeah.
Right. With
the idea he sees like sort of echoes of light where things have been before. So
or things will be as well.
So I like when he's sneaking into a place later on. He's like, there's a number panel to press the code in, and he can see it in his head. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool.
There's things like that I really like, but overall I really didn't like the issue.
Well, I liked the first page. I'll say that. And again, I only read half of it because I liked him. No, because it's him having this.
He feels like
struggle.
he feels like he's the tacked-on member of the Bat family. He doesn't really have a place.
Because he is. Yeah. Let's be honest. He is the tacked-on member. But I like that he, as a character, he's struggling with that, and he's at odds with Damien. In this dream scenario he's having.
What?
That also, this Dial. Is it just me, or are they gonna try to reboot Dial H for Hero with this metagene stuff?
Maybe.
I didn't consider that.
Because the guy that he was fighting keeps saying, "Are you at the center of the dial? Did you have the dial too?" So if they turn this thing into like it activates your metagene that's deep within people, and that's what we get out of this Duke story. That's cool. But as it is now, I don't even think I'm gonna finish the back half because this wasn't doing it for me.
Honestly, Joe, it's funny. I went into this with really no expectations or low expectations or whatever way you want to phrase it, and I think I ended up enjoying it more than I thought I would because of that.
It's good.
Because I went in feeling like, oh, it's going to be another Scott Snyder Wordfest, and I was actually kind of pleased when I saw that he wasn't the one actually writing the
primary
dialogue and stuff, and it was still quite wordy, but do you know what the thing is here? Is I felt there was a lot of the elements in here that I wasn't that familiar with. Like at one point, you know, his girlfriend's there, and his girlfriend's like roommate, I think, and or his other friend, and I'm like, okay, I don't really know who these characters are because I never read We Are Robin.
These are from that Robin War stuff, right? Because they reference being Robin.
Yeah, I never read that, so I don't know who these characters are.
That is really good. That's the most I've ever liked Duke, was when he was leading the We Are Robin stuff.
Here's the thing. That was good. This is probably the most I've ever liked him, because I actually think this power does separate him from the other characters. Because before this, to me, he was just, he's this weird tacked-on, he's kind of a Robin, but he's kind of not, and like, you know, what is his place?
Well, it makes sense why he works in the day now, because that's where the light is.
Oh, sure,
you know what I mean?
But like, I feel like if they actually wanted to go down this path where he has this power and he uses it and he does things during the day, because I kind of liked him interacting with the people, and they were like, hey, there's not meant to be any of these crime fighting nonsense, these fights during the day. Like, but it's safe to go in the day. You people are meant to just stay in night, like that kind of attitude from the public. There was things it was playing with I kind of liked. By the way, does anyone know who this cop is with the robot arm?
No.
Not a clue.
Yeah.
That's why I asked if you guys had finished the Duke story.
Yeah. Critique of this. This was actually something that Gil Simone said on Twitter a couple of weeks ago about how you should always, even if it's like regular characters, always make a point of making sure their name is clearly well, it's a caption that just says their name, whether it's in the dialogue when you first see them. But I went back to the first page of her in this book, and Gordon never says her name. He just keeps calling her detective.
It's funny because I was reading that going, who's this? Because I thought, you know, I read the page, and I'm not gonna lie, I have a really bad habit of just skimming the you know, the captions that say the location captions.
Yeah.
I have this is quite a meaty one here. I have a bad habit of just kind of skimming over those, and I thought, oh, maybe it says in there whose apartment this is. So I went back and checked, because I was reading this, and I'd also read that thread from Gail Simone recently, and I was like, oh, okay, and I was like, are they ever going to say her name? Like, please?
Yeah, next scene with her in the police station, no, it's just always detective, detective.
No,
I'm like,
no, this is the thing. Gordon says her name once in that first scene.
Does
it's
he?
like the fourth page, buried in the middle of dialogue. He calls her Alex once. He says, Alex, stop.
Yeah, I have no idea who Alex is.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, she's Alex. Cool. That doesn't really help, though, because I still don't know who that is.
And she's got a robot arm. That is our defining feature at the moment.
Alex with the robot arm.
Detective robot arm.
Yes. So, I think I'm the most positive on this issue.
Yeah, I'm probably not reading the next one.
I mean, I'm not super enthusiastic about reading the next one. Like, I didn't love it, but I didn't dislike it either. I felt like it did some interesting things. I like his power. I like actually hearing his thoughts for once, and hearing him be feeling insecure. Now I know we got that in the back matter in the All Star, but those back stories were tedious to read. I stopped reading them after the first few, and then I quit that book entirely. I didn't like the book at all. But I feel like it's doing some interesting things where it's trying to give him his own thing. And I kind of like that element of it. It maybe needs something else to kind of set it apart in terms of plot.
This is the thing. All the you just tell me the ideas of what this book is. I'm going, yeah, I like the sound of all that. You know, like him being insecure, him finding his identity in the day. You know, his relationships with Batman and with, you know, the public.
He gets his own base. The Hatch.
I like all these. I just don't think it's very well written, and it's a slog to get through. And I'm kind of going, I don't want to read any more of this, because it was kind of a chore.
No, it was wordy. I agreed. There was just too much narration, which I think it can work with certain writers. Like, I know you don't like Bendis, Cutter, but it's one of the things I think Bendis does really well, where you can have this like streamlined thought process where there is a lot of it, but it's so good the entire time that you're never really caring. Whereas here it's like, no, because there's just too many panels on this page, or too many word boxes on this page. Can we please dial this down a little bit? I did like what the plot was, though. I actually kind of like this whole, there's something in the water or something like that in the refugee center for the kids, and like.
Do you know what? This is going to sound really bad. I knew, because I like you saying that. I like the ideas. I like the plot in general. I don't like reading it. I kind of just want to wait till it's done and read the wiki page.
Oh, yeah, sure.
I know that sounds really bad. I want to know what happens. I want to see it. Okay, what was the story in the end?
Here's the
weird thing. Sit through the story.
Any comment?
Good. I was just saying, I like that they're trying to develop this new character. Instead of just sticking him in the pages, they're giving him a 3-issue mini, and I like that. I just wish, like, I wish I cared about how they're handling the metagene. You know, like I don't know.
Here's the thing. I actually think they're handling him better in this than they have in a while, because I actually feel like here I'm getting to know him a little bit. It's definitely the most I've liked him ever. Right? I can say that for sure. I wouldn't be opposed to reading the next 2 issues. Oddly, the weird thing for me is that I almost feel less inclined to, though, because it is just a 3-issue thing. I feel like if this was them starting something where they were committing to him and saying, no, we're going to really build him and really build like an overall thing. Because my question right now is, look, I mean, maybe this is like testing the waters. Maybe there is a plan. Like, if this does well, maybe they will want to give him an ongoing or something. But right now I feel like, okay, but what about after these 3 issues? Like, is he going to die at the end of Metal and that's why they're not planning anything else? Or...
It's funny because the fact that it's only 3 issues is the only thing that made me consider reading more. When I went, well, it's only 3 issues. Maybe I could get through that. I'm going, okay, maybe I could get through that and then see what it does in the future.
Which maybe tells you, because this is the thing, if this issue was really amazing, it wouldn't matter either way. We just want to read more because it was amazing. Right. Whereas we're saying, oh, we like some of it's kind of hard to read though. So I'm saying, oh, if they were committing to a long run, I'd be like inclined to say, I want to see where this goes. But because it's only 3 issues, I'm thinking, oh, it's going to be done in another 2. So the plot itself that they're doing isn't going to amount to that much really in that time, I don't think. And then I'm like, okay, so where's Duke now? Is this just going to be wrapped up in 3 issues where he's no longer going to be the Signal anymore? You know, because I like some of that.
Honestly, if I had a prediction, it would be more likely to me that it sets him up as the Signal at the end, that he can pop into other books. But you know, and he's just established by the end of this mini. Yeah, and that makes sense. That's not as exciting, I guess. I did like some of the humour though. I liked him being like at the end, like the very last page, he's like, "Well, the Signal lasted 6 hours. That's that done then." No, because this was the best bit of dialogue in the issue. Yeah, so Signal lasted 6 issues. It's time to go dark. I liked that. And it was like,
6 hours, not issues, Connor. That's too many.
Fine. Yeah. I was looking down.
I did the math though, Connor.
Yeah,
it was fine.
You knew, but that was the best part of the book. Which is, and I'm not being just saying, oh, because it's over, weirdly. You know, it's not one of those, oh, the last page is the best because it's ended. That was the best dialogue it had. But it wasn't enough to make me want to come back. Which is unfortunate.
It's funny, because if you two aren't reading it, then I don't feel the need to read it because we're not going to be talking about it.
I mean, you can talk about it and tell me about it, and then I don't have to read the wiki pages myself.
Okay, well, I'll see how I feel when the second issue comes out. We'll see, because we've got all these new age books starting, so we'll have more issues when the next one hits. So I'll see how I feel at the time.
Wikipedia page.
I did like parts of this though. I like kind of what it's trying to do.
I'm sorry, I'm still just groaning over Matt there.
Yeah.
That was bad pun. It was great though.
So.
That's a great bad pun.
I don't know. I don't want to be as harsh on it. I think it's actually got some merit. It's just a bit of a slog to read because of the overlay, just the overwording. That's just what it is.
It's roughly scripted, but I like the ideas.
And I've never heard of the writer before, so maybe maybe that's partly why. Yeah. But hey. So that's the thing. So that'll take us on now to Batman White Knight #4, our last book of the week. Sean Murphy, of course.
More Duke.
There is more Duke in this.
More Duke. But I like this Duke. He's succinct and different.
I don't know if I do. This issue, I'm a bit murkier on than the previous 3.
Oh man, I loved it.
I'm down.
The series might be losing me just a touch with
Alright, get
this
out
issue.
Of here.
I'm sorry.
Beat a nerd.
I'm having a hard time understanding what the point is now that we're getting further along the story. Like what Murphy's trying to say with what he's doing.
Well, he's saying that there's a route that Batman can still operate in Gotham and still, be beholden to the people. And I liked what he's saying there.
Well, no, that's what the Joker's saying, but what's Murphy saying by doing that?
No, I think he's kind of the same. He kind of is the Joker at this point. He's saying, no, there's got to be limits. There's got to be ways to rein in the power.
Because even Gordon's agreeing with him. Like, he tells Batman enough.
Yeah, it's the idea of, we like this idea of this unrestricted heroes, but there's got to be a limit. There's got to be a line.
I think my problem in this issue, though, is that because we're further into this, is that more and more I'm starting to feel like he's having to force who the characters like are compared to normal to make this work. Mainly the Joker. Like, I feel like this Joker couldn't have been anywhere nearly as bad as what we can, typically consider the Joker to be, because he's running for goddamn office and he's got people behind him, and
well, but we see that through the second Harley's origin, right? Like, so that was cool here, is that he gives her that the second Harley, or Neo Joker, this origin and a name, although I can't recall the name off the top of my head. But she was a bank teller at a bank that he happened to be robbing, and she was going to commit suicide.
No, it was Harley. You kept calling her Harley.
Yeah, but no, she actually was given a name. It's not Harleen Quinzel, you know what I mean? Like, he started calling her Harley and turned her into New Harley.
Oh, you meant Murphy gave her a name?
Yeah.
All right, okay, I think meant Joker gave her a name. Like, no, he called her Harley. That was the point.
No, Murphy. And so she just went along with him, as a hostage to save the rest of the people in the bank, and she kept expecting the worst. But Joker actually took care of her, and that's what made her fall in love with him. It wasn't like this twisted. And I like that, because I hate the idea that Suicide Squad perpetuated, like, sometimes you just have to be crazy to fall in love. It's like, no, Joker in that is so abusive and so nasty.
No, yeah, I realize she acknowledges that. Yeah, it's probably just Stockholm syndrome, but I kind of don't care. Like, I'm past that.
Yeah, because he didn't do the worst to me. He the first time he touched me was to bandage up my cuts.
And so I think that's maybe my issue with the Joker in this issue, though, is that just feels not like the Joker to me. I don't know. I can't see the Joker having this sweet moment where he bandages up her cuts.
Yeah, but we didn't see, like... We don't see, like, if the Killing Joke had happened, because if the Killing Joke had happened in this, there's no way Gordon's even contemplating working with him. There's no way that Babs is getting close to him. You know what I mean?
I think, you just have to accept it's a different version of the Joker, and maybe it was slightly watered down in that sense, but that's not a problem to me.
Let's say it's like Earth 5. Whatever,
I don't know. I wasn't feeling it in this one as much. When we're doing the rally and Duke's like talking to the people of the was it Backport? There you go.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, Jack Napier believes in us, and Jack Napier, sure, he's got a rap sheet, but so do I, and it's just, I don't know.
Everyone at Backport has a rap sheet,
And I'm like, are you really comparing yourself to the goddamn Joker? I'm pretty sure what's on your rap sheet is nothing compared to what's on his.
I think the point here is, if the worst of us can reform and get to run for public office and potentially win and be on that stage, any of us can do anything.
He didn't come with force. He came to build a library.
It just feels too quick to me, though. If that's the thing we're selling here.
I mean, that's kind of, in a nutshell, the American dream, right? The idea that anyone can be president. That's kind of what this is. It's
don't get me wrong.
Proven. Thank you, 2016.
Well, here's the thing, though. That's actually the one thing I can kind of take from this is the idea that Napier's manipulating everyone into like promoting him like this and being this public figure and winding things his way. And to me, he's corrupting all these people in this town. He's actually. He's manipulating them into thinking he's for them, and he's really not. For me, that if I'm going to take anything from this that has worth, if I'm going to take anything that has worth, it's going to be that it's criticizing that any buffoon can do this, and it's almost a cynical sort of bite back at the public for not really thinking about this.
Oh no, I think you're right. It is that in many ways. It is like to the public here at the start. To them, it's oh no, if he can do it, anyone can. And so it's this thing to strive for. It's an ideal. Whereas to him, he has his own agenda, of course.
Feeling what Gordon does, because Gordon's like, okay, we can't keep letting Batman just do whatever the hell he wants. But are we really going to saddle up with the Joker? I don't know what to do, and he's so conflicted. And I feel that's like the average person. Like, if this is a whole satire, and that's the point of this, is as Gordon's the actual logical person. He's not being swayed just off of emotion. And, so the fact that they're at the end, that Joker has some good ideas. Like, he's going to refunnel the Gotham Fund, or the Batman Destruction Fund, back into the police force, which, is that really such a good idea? And not, like, putting it into the city itself. Now he's just creating another state. you know, another like police state.
Yeah.
So, you know, but Gordon's with him on that because it affects Gordon. You know, now Gordon doesn't have to have that. And we've already seen one of Joker's plans blow up on him with Clayface when Neo Joker and Mad Hatter got to him. You know, and they turned all the villains and set them on Gotham. So, and I feel like that's what's going to be what brings Batman in. Is Batman gets locked in Arkham because he's not going along with this. But then when Joker realizes he can't defeat the villains with his way, he's going to need Batman's help. And that's what the first scene.
Yeah. And then he'll have to let him go back to doing his own thing.
Yeah, that's it. We'll go back to that. Yeah.
But I really liked it. And the stuff with Harley and the Joker, like original Harley.
That montage of their night out is incredible.
Yep. And I like that they kind of gave him the freedom to the next page, their pillow talk stuff.
Do you know what? I had to laugh at that top panel, you know, where they're lying there. Because Murphy posted the pencils for that on Twitter like ages ago, like it was before the last issue came out.
Okay.
And it's like, you know, it's completely uncensored, and he was like, "Shit, DC told me I have to censor this. Got to find a creative way to do it."
Okay.
And then looking at it, he's just stuck the word bubble over it.
Gotcha.
I was like,
but I kind of like how
they
gave him the freedom in there to kind of just tell the story because it doesn't feel gratuitous, like at all. You know, it feels like a nice, tender moment, and they're both vulnerable to each other.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
It's a really nice moment.
Yeah.
I think it's stuff like this is why the series is working, because Napier feels like a real person. Even though, he has his own agenda, and, he's still shady and stuff, and, you know, doing his own thing. But he feels genuine in moments like this where it counts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, the art's fantastic. Again,
the art's the best part of the book. I think it always has been.
Without saying.
I think I expect that from anything from Murphy, though, in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still want to read Punk Rock Jesus just based off A, the title, and B, the cover, because just the art inside has to be.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
One day, Matt will read it.
I'm trying to find the new Harley's name.
It's Marion Drews.
Thank you.
I found it while we were looking for it, but then I didn't have a good time to bring it up.
There you go. But yeah, so I like all that stuff, and them, you know, the villains descending on the police station. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the final reveal, of course, is that the Waynes were maybe into some shady stuff in the past.
With
Project
Nazis.
Paperclip. Yeah, I mean that's America though. Like here we go again.
With Baron von Fries, of course, connected to.
Oh, such a great name.
I love it.
Connected to. Right. Now I like that stuff. I like when he's playing with this stuff a little bit more. I think the deeper it goes into messing with the Joker's character, it starts to feel a bit more off to me. But I don't know. I just wasn't into this one as much as some of the previous ones. It didn't have the big moments. I think when you focus on Jack Napier and Harley as a almost regular couple on a date, and I know you said you loved that montage. For me, I'm just like, okay, this is weird. But
it's supposed to be weird in that sense. You're supposed to go, what is going on? Is this still the Joker? Is this genuine and reformed, or what's actually happening? So it is weird in that sense.
I might like it more when I've read the whole thing, but for me, this was easily the weakest issue of the series so far. I'm not super into him running for office per se. I mean, I know that's going to always be part of the story, but I don't know. The actual scene of him like talking to the crowd and.
I thought that was a little on the nose, a little heavy-handed, but maybe that's the point, because he's not Percy, where Percy kind of rues in being heavy-handed. Yeah. I mean, that whole speech from Duke where he's like, "We don't need a white knight to come to Backport," and I was like, "That's the title, man." So I feel like that's very tongue-in-cheek, and Duke knowing what to say to rile up the crowd.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed it. I keep, it's a deconstruction of Batman, which we all know that I really enjoy, especially when right now there's so many different stuff where Batman's this flawed hero, whether it's Detective and his problems with the first victim and Stephanie, or what King's doing, or here in White Knight. Like, there's almost too much of it, but me being me and has dealt with because Batman for too many goddamn years, I'm gonna eat it all out.
And I think it's funny, given this, and we mentioned it in Green Lanterns and Justice League. I just love the politicizing of superhero comics.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love the idea that it's it's triggering the wrong people that are gonna get all pissy about things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, well, okay, there's other books to read, guys. But if you're that insecure about your own political beliefs,
I think those 2 other books did it better than this issue did.
well, yeah. Those have a little bit easier of a hand though too.
I think this did it better than Green Lanterns did, because Green Lanterns just had the one discussion, whereas this is the premise of the whole book, really, at this point.
Well, no, because he's done that throughout the Ungaran arc.
Yeah,
that whole.
I get you. Yeah.
And it's more seeped naturally into the plot because it isn't. Whereas this, because to make this whole thing work, it has to be this out of continuity thing where everything's a little bit. Like we say, he's altered the characters to fit the message that he's trying to do with it.
Yeah, he said that from the beginning. This was going to be a political satire of what's going on, told through the lens of Batman. You know, that's how it was sold to me, anyways.
Yeah,
and it's delivering on what it promised, and I love it, and the fact I get to look at Murphy art every month, like
that is never a bad thing.
No, never. God, it makes me want to reread The Wake.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
But there you go. That is the Batman White Knight number 4. That is the last issue of the week, which means we're on to picking our favourite stuff. So as always, we work our way through. We do best panel / moment, we do best cover, we do best artist, and then we pick our top 5 books of the week. So, best panel / moment, Connor.
This is actually the first time in months where, as I've been reading a book, I've gone, "That's my panel," and it's so rare that happens, but it's just such a cool image. It's from Nightwing. It's Dick Grayson jumping through the stained glass window of the church. I love that image. It was just fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Matt?
So I have 3 different ones, and I have a hard time picking this time. Because like Connor said, as I was going, I thought I had one. But then as we go, so my first one was it's the continuity wonk in me. I really wanted to pick the final of Superman, but that's too on point, so I'm throwing that one out. And then we got to Green Arrow, and I didn't realize how much the Emiko page hit me. But then you guys are like, she's probably not actually dead. Like, this is just a story plot. So then that one throws out. So that just leaves me with White Knight, the Joker and Harley's night out. But not just that, it's that solo image of them on the side of it, like in that pose. And I know Murphy's done that pose. Yeah, in other books, like it's been in American Vampire. He's a fan of that pose, and it's quintessential Murphy. And just in the context, that's my panel moment of the week.
Yeah, I'm going to Nightwing as well. I'm going with the last page though. The last 2 panels, which are the judge in front of the Justice Tree. I particularly like the city lights spinning around him as if the world's moving around him.
It's the world spinning.
Yeah. And he's just there in the middle of the tree.
I also think like there might have been more in that tiki drink, and he's just tripping balls.
That's what I'm saying. He just drugged up.
It's entirely possible. I can't dispute that.
That was definitely ayahuasca in there, and he's having a moment.
So that'll be best cover then next. Matt.
Oh, Green Arrow, easy.
Yeah, I'm jumping in. This is the easiest one in ages.
You're gonna have Black Canary carrying him out of the water. It's like reverse James Bond stuff. Like, it just the colors and the image dead center. Like, I saw it at the comic shop and was like, that's it. This is
that's the image that pops this week.
I was just looking at, I was just double checking all the other ones just in case I disagreed, but no, Green Arrow ones. Yeah, I can't fault the choice. So best art of the week then. I suppose I need to go first for that. See, the obvious answer is Sean Murphy, but I'm actually going to go with Chang from Nightwing. I feel like Murphy's great, and obviously, but we've had that for months and months now, because it's been obviously one issue a month. Chang in the last 2 issues of Nightwing has been really great. Really unique style. It's really fit the story it's telling, and I think this issue had a lot of big moments. That church moment, the ending, the suicide moment, the falling through the sky at the start when he's been shot, all that stuff, all of it fantastic. The bright neon lights, love it all. So I'm going with Nightwing. Connor.
Yeah, those 2 that you mentioned are the obvious ones, and then the Green Arrow as well is the third contender in my list.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm gonna have to give it to Ferreyra for Green Arrow. I think it just hits me.
Matt.
Well then, If you guys aren't gonna do it, then I'm gonna give it to Murphy for White Knight.
It was close.
Yeah, but also, I mean, I also enjoyed the Justice League art, just for it's so blocky and so comic, and the way you're talking about how the different panels take up different amounts of space.
Yeah, the layouts I think are actually the most impressive part of the Justice League.
Yeah, they're inventive.
So, I enjoy that too, but it's Murphy. It's a lot like Maniple that way. If I can vote for them, that's what I'm voting for.
Yeah, okay. Connor, top 5 books of the week.
Top 5. This is interesting because I'm actually putting at number 1 Justice League.
What?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this issue. I'm like, no, this is. Yeah, I know. Last issue, Matt, you said, "Oh, this is the one that got you," and for me, that's this one where I'm like, no, this could be great. So that's at number 1. Number 2 is Nightwing. 3, Matt, I think your mic's going again. 3 is White Knight. 4 is Batman. 5 is Green Arrow.
Okay, Matt.
All right, so my number 1 is White Knight. My number 2 is Nightwing. Number 3 is Green Arrow. 4 is Batman, and 5 is Superman, because I'm a dirty biased person and have to.
Okay.
They had to finally get it on there because it's been months.
Not just that, the continuity stuff too. Come on, Connor Kent. I can't not.
My number 1 is Nightwing. My number 2 is Justice League. My number 3 is Batman. My number 4 is Green Arrow, and my number 5. A bit closer, but I'll say Green Lanterns for number 5.
Yeah, week 2 still continues to be my favorite week of comics. This is week 2, right? Week 1.
This is week 1.
This one. Okay, feels like week 2.
Wait. When did week 1 get so stacked?
Yeah,
it was stacked for a while. Week 2 is actually quite.
This feels like a week 2, though, right?
Yeah, I thought it was a week 2 as well.
No, week 1.
It's not just me.
No, next week's.
Oh damn it! This is a good week.
Well, if this is how we're starting off the year, then like Kite Man, hell yeah, because this was a solid week. I really wanted to put Justice League in my top, but it just missed it.
We all picked a different thing actually, because I went Nightwing, he went Justice League, and you went White Knight. So I'll tell you what's coming next week. That's the thing.
Yeah, let's do that.
So next week coming, Metal number 5 was supposed to be there, but as we said at the top of the show, that has been pushed to week 5 of the month. So hey ho. But what is coming next week is Action Comics 995, Detective Comics 972, Wonder Woman number 38, The Flash number 38, Supergirl number 17, New Superman number 19, Mr. Miracle number 6. Also next week, I will be talking about it. I'm going to read the last few issues because the final issue, Superwoman number 18, is out next week. So I'll talk about that. Also out next week, but we will not be covering, are Titans number 19, Batgirl and the Birds of Prey number 18, Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps number 36, Justice League of America number 22, Ragman number 4, Suicide Squad number 33, Red Hood and the Outlaws number 18, although I feel like Connor might be doing his Corner next week and doing his next issue of Red Hood, which I think is about issue 14, I want to say.
Oh god, they're adding the Creeper.
On top of that, also next week, the first issue of the sequel to the Raven miniseries from last year is out next week, called Raven, Daughter of Darkness number 1. I don't think Eva's want to read that.
I don't have that.
No, it's not.
Is it moved? Okay, it was originally next week then, but it's just moved.
Check before you do this.
I checked Metal because that was an important one.
It's way more fun to correct him, Connor, so no, don't check.
Aye, shut up.
Yeah, but I want to give him extra work to do.
You ginger minge. There you go. I knew you like that, Matt.
I don't know what that means, but I like the rhyme.
So that is what's coming next.
We'll tell you after, Matt.
Okay, so there you go. That's this week's show. That's episode 85 of Comics from the Multiverse. Actually, I want to say, wasn't there supposed to be a New Age book next week?
I don't think so.
Because they all moved, so maybe I'm just doubting myself. Yeah. Maybe it's the week after the start.
I'm just looking at these. I just want to say, because it's not going to be in the running next week, that if we did cover it, Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps would win my cover, because it is a gorgeous Maniple cover.
Sure.
And I'm not going to remember this next week, so I'm going to say it now.
Well, yeah, and it's got all 4 of the lanterns on it, right? Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, damn, I might have to buy that. I hate you. I hate you so much.
Sorry, man.
Okay. Well, I guess that wraps up the show. So obviously, let us know what you think of this week's books in the comments and stuff. If you want to get us on the Twitters at DC Comics Podcast, of course you can get Matt on Twitter.
At Matt of Steel 57.
And you get Connor on Twitter.
I'm at Conor94, and I blanked for a second. I was like, wait, do we do this at the end of the show?
We haven't been. That's why
we do now.
I was gonna fill it in.
Yeah, I was really confused.
That's cool.
How does this throw you? You know your Twitter.
But I had to think because I wasn't prepared, so I had to think, what is my Twitter?
It's your name and the year you were born.
Yeah,
It's
but
not that
I
hard.
still had to think about it.
Oh.
And you can get me at Twitter at Wibble89, so you can do that. You also, of course, go over to patreon.com/MailFuzzTV if you want to support the show and support everything we do here. So you get that. There's a monthly episode coming this month. Will be Batman Earth 1 Volume 1. Me and Connor are going to be doing that at some point during the month.
Great story.
So yeah, so go over and check out there. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Like, subscribe, give us a good rating on iTunes or your podcast app of choice, wherever you get us on.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, that's 85. We'll be back next week with more comics and stuff. And also remember, just in case you missed it, the annual episode went out midweek. Between this and the last episode, there was an annual episode, which was the 2017 kind of award show that we did. So there's a bonus episode in case you missed it. You may not have been checking for it because it's an extra one, but check that out too. So that is us. So from Matt, from Connor, and from myself, thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Keep reading comics, and always remember to never get lost in the Speed Force.
Connor Kent's back.